Look, all my puffiness is gone. All that crying I did today watching that damn funeral. Man, I was so puffy. Hi, welcome in. Hi, it's Crime Time with Sheila. I'm gonna work on that, Hio. We're just gonna drop a Ramada on this channel. I think we're just gonna stick with Crime Time with Sheila. I kind of like that. I don't know what you think. I don't know. Just a thought. Thinking out loud. But yeah, it's been an eventful day, man. We've been up since I set my alarm for 8:30 this morning, and here I'm still going. My honey bunny took the son to the movie so I could have some peace and quiet. And he come in and give me a kiss on the cheek. He said, "Calm down. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through this." Because I've been crying for 5 freaking hours. So, anyways, so Lola's in here playing. Meets up in the bar front playing. So they're separated. So we're not going to have any incidents. Hopefully we won't have much barking. So they went to go see The Longest Walk. Longest Walk or something like that. I don't know. Something about some people walking. I don't know. I didn't want to go see it. So it was cool. So I get quietness. Finally. Yay. I'm so excited. So the reason I've had such a hard time with this trial, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, this is why I get so frustrated sometimes, because our local news channel, some of them don't put the whole trial in the stream. So I've had to take two, what's messaging me? That was weird. I heard a blink. I have two. Oh, it's Denise. Denise is in my back. Let me see what Denise says. I'm here. Having you my big screen. Okay, Denise. Hi. Look at me on the big screen. Hi. Okay, sorry. Okay, squirrel. See? But anyways, I have to piece these together because our local channel 11 has the very beginning and cut out like the first 45 minutes of trial day. But then our Fox 26 local channel has the latter part. So I've had to kind of piece it together. So we're just going to kind of roll with this. This is day 3, and I want to get it finished because day 4 will be tomorrow, and I want to do it speed trial like we normally do, and I want to be caught up to where we are where we need to be for the trial date. You like it too? Prime Time with Sheila. I don't know. It just kind of has a little ring. Just leave rubber Ramada for the crazy shit, you know? Okay. Let me see. Let me change my screen. I don't like this one. We're going to go back over here. Here I is. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Hia. Hi, Cindy. I'm sorry. I'm just over here babbling away. It's me. I'm babbling. Okay. I'm going to hit play. Hopefully I don't have it too loud. I tried to adjust it a little bit before I did. So.
Putting in front of this jury and explaining what they're supposed to see in this video.
And so much drama yesterday. I guess we expect more drama today.
Absolutely. So there's a little bit of drama in the room because the state has introduced a bunch of videos. They have 2 videos. One, I understand, will be the ATM video, as well as another surveillance video that will give us an idea of what the gunshot sounded like that day. They put those 2 videos together to enhance it.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Carmen. Yeah. We just heard an all rise from the court, so let's go there now.
Let's get to court. Thank you.
I did Central Patrol for a year, and then I moved to Vehicle Crimes Division.
And that's where you spent the rest of your HPD career?
Yes, it is.
And there you received extensive training, right?
Yes, sir.
And roughly what years were you at HPD assigned to vehicular crimes?
I would say I was assigned to Vehicle Crimes from 2012 to 2022 when I left.
All right. And then in 2022, is that when you went to the Harris County DA's office?
Yes, sir. That is when I joined the Harris County District Attorney's office.
Okay, to be clear, that's the same Harris County District Attorney's office that Mr. Catani and Mr. Jordan worked for, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
All right. So let's start with, well, I guess let me ask this. You also received, they don't just throw you into vehicular crimes, right? They give you some training. Is that fair? Who? The law enforcement. Like when you went to at HPD, they didn't just say you're now assigned to vehicular crimes. They had to teach you how to do some of these investigations, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And you received periodic training after that, right?
Yes, sir.
You also received training when you're at the Harris County DA's office.
Yes, sir.
And would be technology is always changing, right?
Yes, sir. It is.
So there's always a need to get updated training, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've been doing that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, how many years, ballpark, have you been doing crimes or investigating crimes regarding accident scenes?
Since 2012.
Okay. So let's talk about that then. About an accident investigation and a reconstruction. In order to do a proper and thorough reconstruction, I'd like for you to list for us what all you need to review. Okay, so let's start with this. Would you need to review all offense reports created by police departments regarding the incident?
Yes, sir.
Would you need to review all crime scene unit reports regarding the incident?
Yes, sir.
I believe you said yesterday witnesses are important. So you want to see all the witnesses, see all their accounts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when we're talking about witnesses, that's a little unique because witness testimony can vary, correct?
Yes, sir. That's true.
And in fact, witness testimony can vary in situations where someone's not lying, but they can be mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, that happens all the time, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you're trained in doing your investigation, you got to look at the whole picture, correct?
Yes, sir.
And every witness statement that is made is something that needs to be given some consideration to at least evaluate what's accurate and what's not. Fair?
That's typically what I do. Yes, sir.
All right. And then at HP, you've got, what's that laser scanner called?
The Leica RTC.
Okay, that's advanced technology, but in one form or another, it's been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you had that at HPD when you were there in 2022.
Yes.
And you've had it, the Harris County District Attorney's Office has that same equipment, correct?
No, sir. We do not own a Leica scanner.
Okay, so when you use a Leica scanner in your duties with the Harris County DA's office, you're borrowing it from another agency?
Yes, sir. I was.
Okay. The Leica scanner is really good for measurements, right?
Yes, sir. It is.
But there's still some human input that comes into play, correct?
It is. Yes, sir.
For example, the reference points are not chosen by the scanner, but by the investigator. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So we talked, is there anything that I did not cover? Well, I guess let me ask this, photographs. You want to see scene photographs, correct?
Yes, sir.
If there's a scene video, you want to review that?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything, and I promise it's a trick question, I want to make sure there's nothing I missed. Is there anything else that in your ideal situation?
Y'all notice he says that a lot. This isn't a trick question. A lawyer says that a lot. I noticed that the other day. This is not a trick question.
And I get every situation is not ideal, okay? But in your ideal situation to do a reconstruction, is there anything else that I've not mentioned that you would really like to see?
I would like to see all the photos, basically all the evidence that anybody's captured. I would like to see when I'm doing a reconstruction because it takes a totality to put something back together.
All right. So, and in vehicle cases, and I'll visit with you in more detail about this in a minute, but are you familiar with the term electronic data recorder?
Yes, sir. That would be EDR. Yes, sir.
And is that something that is sometimes referred to as a black box?
Yes, sir. That is.
And sometimes you can get information from electronic data recorder, sometimes you can't, right?
Yes, sir.
But if that's information that's available, it's certainly something that you want to review when doing your reconstruction. Fair?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, when were you asked to get involved?
I would say probably about August of 2025.
All right, so last month.
Yes, sir.
What were you given to review in this case?
Excuse me. I was given the entire case file to just review.
All right, so the case file for what you reviewed, did that include the report regarding the shooting?
I mean, just the original ORI from HPD?
Yeah, when we say OR, you and me, we both know what that means, but so the jury understands this, OR means offense report.
Yes, sir. The original offense report.
And police, as part of their duties, are required to make offense reports of what they're investigating, correct?
Yes, sir. They are.
All right, so if the jury hears OR, just know that means police report, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so in this case, you had, because of the unique situation, there were two offense reports, right?
Yes, sir.
There was the report for the shooting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Then there was the report for the robbery.
Yes, sir.
And you reviewed both of those.
Yes, sir.
Now, there were also photographs that were taken by crime scene unit investigators, correct?
Yes, sir.
You reviewed all of those.
Yes, sir.
There was a crime scene video that was taken by a crime scene unit, correct?
Yes, sir.
You reviewed that.
Yes, sir.
All right. You had a testimony from Arlene Alvarez. Did you review that?
I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay. And in that testimony and in your review of it, you're familiar with him stating at one point they were shooting at each other, correct?
I don't recall that.
Would you quibble with me about that being accurate? I can show it to
We're going to go over that shooting. He was shooting at him, so we're going to go, he's going to rehash that again.
you.
Could you show it to me, please?
Sure. And while she's finding, and can you find that grand jury transcript? All right, while she's finding that, Did you review any testimony from Wendy Alvarez?
I don't recall.
You don't know if you did or not?
Yes, I don't remember.
Okay. Did you review the statements from Wendy Alvarez or Armando Alvarez that were listed in the office report?
I just don't remember because I review cases literally every day for all the crash fatalities. So I read a lot.
But we're in trial on this case.
I understand. Yes, sir.
Did you not review anything before you came up to the stand?
I'm just trying to remember what I can, sir.
I understand, but I mean, you get, this is my only time to be able to ask you questions on this, okay? So you don't remember if you based any of your opinions upon, in part, the statements made by the Alvarez family?
I based my opinions on the photos that I took and the scene measurements that I took, sir.
So you did not, this is something I'm trying to trick you, but I'm not. I'm trying to understand. You did not take into account the statements that were made by the witnesses at the scene?
I based my evidence on the videos and the photos that I took and the measurements that I took.
So not,
and reading the original report.
okay. There were witness statements in the report, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that go into your calculations? Did that go into the opinions that you made on this case?
The only calculations that I made were from my like to scan measurements where I clicked the point and then clicked another point, sir.
Judge, may I take this witness on board IR?
No, Judge, I'm not offering anything. You can't take the witness on board.
I'm a little confused.
Regarding what he is specifically an expert at, crime scene reconstruction versus shooting incident reconstruction.
Judge-
He's asking, if I may, the attorney's asking him about who was shooting at the scene. Mr. Bledsoe is a crime scene reconstructionist. That's what his testimony was yesterday, and that was the scope of his testimony yesterday.
Go ahead, Mr. Please.
No, with all due respect, Judge, this is not federal court. This is state court. We get to have open
You
cross.
can ask whatever question, you just keep it within the sort of.
And this is in front of the jury,
Well-
guys.
Judge, maybe approach?
In front of the jury at that. Good Lord, y'all calm down, people. I like his purple tie.
May I approach the witness? All right, you said earlier you thought you reviewed testimony from Armando Alvarez as part of your review of the case.
Right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm showing you a prior testimony of Mr. Alvarez, okay? And if you'll look at lines 8 and 9 there, you can read as much as you want, but I want you to focus on lines 8 and 9. Don't read it aloud, just read it to yourself. And tell me when you're finished.
I'm finished.
Okay, does that refresh your memory as to whether or not Mr. Alvarez had previously testified they were shooting at each other?
Can I say kind of what I just read actually?
You're welcome to say yes.
Because right now I'm just reading where it says, as I slow down, you know, I heard the first gunshots. They were shooting at each other.
There you go. Does that say that? So did I miss something that said they were shooting at each other?
Oh, it just says he heard it. He didn't see it visually with his eyes.
Well, don't want to play these games here. I mean, does it say they were shooting?
They were shooting at each other.
Shooting at each other. Did I misread that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Is that so hard to disagree?
Yes.
No, sir.
All right. So you reviewed the police report, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you stated when Mr. Catani was asking you questions that witness information is something that you have to take into account, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
And did you review the whole report?
The offense report from HP, I recall all of that. Yes, sir.
Okay. And in that report, there were statements from the Alvarez, and when I say that, I mean Wendy and Armando Alvarez, correct?
Yes, sir.
There was a statement from my client's wife, correct?
Yes, sir.
There was a statement from my client, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you reviewed all of those, right?
I have reviewed them before. Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you take those into account when you were making the opinions that you were making on your case?
The only opinions I made, sir, was from the evidence that I took and based off the visual videos that you can see.
Okay, so you did not take into account, I just wanted to understand if you took the witness testimony into account, yes or no?
I always listen to and take it into account. And then as an investigator, you go through and you check and balance basically by reviewing video and putting everything together.
Okay. So you are in the vehicular crimes unit at the DA's office, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
And that's a unit that probably has a little bit of overlap in this case because there are some vehicles involved. But when there are vehicle or crime scenes involving vehicles, y'all have a call-out schedule, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And that is where you will have sometimes a prosecutor or an investigator from the Harris County District Attorney's Office that will go out to the scene of the alleged crime, right?
Yes, sir.
And you go there while the police are there, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the reason you do that immediately is because looking at the crime scene quickly after it happened is important, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And you're going to get more, there's only so much information you can reconstruct. It's better to be on the scene. That's why they send you out there, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you were talking about one of the things that you do is read the roadway. You remember telling Mr. Katami that?
Yes, sir.
When we're reading the roadway, that is it fair to say that that's where you're looking for certain clues from evidence on the road itself?
Yes, sir.
Some of those clues can be things like something called a yaw mark, right?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell the jury what that is?
Yaw mark is a critical curve speed mark, basically, which tells true speed. There's a formula we can use that gives actual true speed of that vehicle because it's a tire that is rotating while side slipping.
Okay, and then there's other things you can do to calculate vehicle pitch.
Yes, sir, there is.
Okay, would you tell the jury what pitch means for a vehicle?
As far as like it basically turning pitch, you mean? Like a rotation?
The kind of pitch that you look at, yes, sir.
Well, we have a vehicle that's turning and has a pitch angle basically. So basically a deviation off of its normal axis, essentially.
And those are things that you routinely look for when doing investigations involving vehicles, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why?
It's part of our scene and evidence for vehicular crimes. It can tell you different things about those vehicles and what was happening.
And the road itself, in addition to having marks, there could be other evidence you can see from the concrete on the road sometimes, correct?
Yes, sir.
For example, something simple, if there's a shooting, you can see, in some situations, you might be able to see a bullet where a bullet had hit the concrete, right?
I mean, yes, sir.
All right. Now, going back to the EDR, or the black box.
Okay.
That, Mr. Catania visited with you about that a little bit yesterday. That is kind of a data recorder for a vehicle, right?
Yes, sir. It's attached to the airbag control module.
But it also will, in certain circumstances, collect and retain other information about the vehicle, correct?
Certain parameters of a vehicle. Each brand is different with it in the EDR world.
Of course.
I like this
The
guy.
types of things, but you will routinely, in vehicle investigations, it's quite common for y'all to download the information from the black box, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
And y'all don't do that just to see if the airbag went off, do you?
No, sir.
You do that because it can give you information in certain cases, and I understand not all cases, but in certain cases like speed, correct?
Yes, sir.
It can sometimes tell you braking.
Yes, sir.
What other information can it give you?
You can get speed, braking, steering input. Sometimes it can give you quantities on the driver's weight versus the person sitting in a passenger's seat. It tells you if the if the seatbelt was worn. It can tell you mileage that's on the vehicle itself. It can read that data as well. It's just a few things, you guys.
So now those, and I understand that it varies by vehicle, okay? I'm gonna guess, since we're in Houston, Texas, you probably had some familiarity with the Ford F-250.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the Ford EDR will collect that information if there's an accident that's big enough to make the airbags deploy, right?
Or an event-enabled signal sent, basically.
Sure, but let's, I'm kind of starting one place and I'm gonna go somewhere else. I mean, we can agree, if there's an accident, it's gonna collect that information, right?
If it's an accident that triggers an event, a minor accident like a 1 or 2 mile per hour bump you from behind, probably it's not going to actually enable.
Fair. And that actually one of the things that triggers it to collect the information in certain circumstances. Have you ever heard the term delta V?
Yes, sir. The instantaneous change in velocity. Yes, sir.
Okay. And when there is a significant delta V, okay, change in velocity.
This lawyer is acting like he's gonna get something over on this guy, and Bledsoe ain't. He's not budging, guys. I love it. He's a good witness. I like this guy. I mean, he's.
Yes, sir.
That in some circumstances can trigger the electronic data recorder to record information, even if there's not a event, right?
Yes, sir. And create a non-deployment event is what it's actually called.
Okay. And then if that happens, you may be able to get some of the information like we talked about, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are aware in this case that at one point the brakes were slammed on this car, correct? This vehicle.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're also aware there was never an attempt made to get any of the data from the Ford's black box, correct?
Yes, sir.
That technology completely existed to be able to do that in 2022, right?
Yes, sir. It did.
You were able to do that when you were at HPD?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to publish State's Exhibit number 2. Let's see. Well, hold on. They missed that because of the Zoom. Judge, we got just a minute for a technical thing. I think because of the Zoom, it is
Mr.
it's on the right.
Just take a second.
Young attorneys.
Judge, may I approach the TV?
Y'all might have seen the TV in there with like the VCR. That's how we grew up. You just plug it in. Give it to the Smithsonian.
He said, "Give it to the Smithsonian." Okay, y'all.
We're looking at State's Exhibit, and it's 2, 3.
Don't touch that.
So for the record, we're looking at State's Exhibit number 3. This is a video that you've certainly seen before, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. Emma, can you play up until, may I approach the,
This is fine.
there's something here. All right, stop. All right, now when you look there, is that the robber?
Yes, sir, that is the original robber from the
His
18th.
hand's extended there, correct?
Yes, sir, it is extended.
All right, and I'm going to show you Defense Exhibit number 9. Do you see this, sir?
Yes, sir, it's just a screenshot of this same frame pretty much.
Okay. Is it fairly accurately depict the screenshot that you're seeing right there?
If I can see the time that the boxes in the
Well,
way.
just more or less. I mean, I need to be precise.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Sir, this is a trial. We need to be precise. Don't be a smart ass. Let him look at the, oh, see, he just was like, y'all said, no, just.
Tender to
See the time frame pretty much.
okay. Is it fairly accurately depict the screenshot that you're seeing right there?
If I can see the time that the boxes in the
Well,
way.
just more or less. I mean, I need to be precise.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Tender Defense Exhibit number 9, opposing counsel offering the evidence.
We need
Yeah,
to be
no, that's
precise. It's a trial. Come on.
Okay, and that is, we said, consistent with, that's consistent with someone shooting a gun, right?
That's consistent with somebody extending their arm right now.
You think a robber's just saying hi?
He's sticking his hand up, and if he has a gun in his hand, which I think he did from seeing the other videos.
You're not denying that they were robbed, right? I think we agree.
No, I totally agree with that, sir.
And if you go for the next one. Number 2.
Okay. If you remember correctly, Mr. Armando Alvarez said it happened so fast he didn't know. He thought that the other guy was shooting, but after he went back and he realized everything and reviewed everything and seen videos, he knew the other guy was not shooting. It was all coming from the one guy, which is Mr. Tony Earls Jr. Wait, that happened fast. I didn't see that rain. That run. He was running. I didn't know you were live. You were watching what? You were watching what? A train wreck and playing. Yeah. No, I wanted to cover this because I want to be able to be live tomorrow and be on the right day. So that's why I went ahead and went live tonight. Hector took my son to the movies, so I got quiet time. Look how fast this guy runs. See him running?
Yeah, and then you see the same thing over here, right? Did I catch it at the right spot?
Yes, sir, he's sticking his arm up currently.
Okay. And that's also consistent with like that first one, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, this is the ATM video. I'm going to rewind that just a second. I know I've seen that too. I've seen that time I have to catch nonsense later because I need to know. I have FOMO and I missed out because I was watching Charlie Kirk's funeral. So, okay, this happened so fast. This is the ATM where she pulls up at the Chase ATM, and this is Tony Earls' wife. She pulls up at the ATM, and another gentleman is who comes up and robs her. This is the view from the ATM.
All right, we're seeing right here is the robbery itself, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's apparent to you there's a firearm involved in that, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And can you pause? We show you defense exhibit number 8. Same question as last time.
Yes, sir.
Is that, it's not that exact moment, but is that a screenshot that fairly and accurately depicts part of the video that we are watching?
Yes, sir, it is.
I tendered defense exhibit number 8 to the opposing counsel and offer an offer an evidence.
Yeah, no objection, Judge.
Number to make defense number 8 will be the evidence in the public.
Not yet. All right, that's good. Now go to the shooting. All right, now on defendant's, or I'm sorry, state's exhibit number 1, we're looking at, we've seen this a few times. Tommy went over it with you yesterday. As soon as you just get to the part where Tony is coming out. All right, and stop, please. Thank you. All right, so at this point, we went through this a little bit yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is where Mr. Earls is firing his handgun, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, now, and there's a series, I think 3. Does that sound right? 3 shots at that point before he goes into the grass?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I want to kind of dissect what we're saying this is and what we're saying it isn't. Are you giving any opinion as to whether any of those 3 shots were the one that went into the truck?
No, sir, I'm not giving any opinion into that.
Okay, do you know whether any of those 3 shots are the ones that went into the truck?
I think from this point, we can see 3 flashes basically in the grass of where it's hitting, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so we can rule out those shots as being any that went into the truck. Fair?
I think that's fair, yes, sir.
Okay, and then Anna, can you go forward? And stop. All right, so we've got Mr. Earls over at that point where it looks like from the angle, you know, we've got the truck coming up. I'm not going to go frame by frame at this stage, but he, meaning Mr. Earls, is somewhere in this general area when he is firing at the truck, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, when you were doing your measurements, you had no way to measure exactly where Mr. Earls would have been standing. Fair?
I just can't place his exact spot because of the pillars and how the camera's positioned.
Yeah, and you weren't out there, so I mean, you don't know. I'm not fussing at you for this. I don't think it's possible to know. You don't know. You couldn't state precisely where he was standing when the shot was fired in the truck. Fair?
Not from this camera. From the
Well,
China drawing, you probably could have a better position of seeing where he's standing.
Okay. Do you have any opinion as to exactly where he was standing when the shot was made that went into the truck?
No, sir, I do not have an opinion.
All right. And you also, to really know that, you need to know kind of where the truck is too, right?
Yes, sir.
And while sometimes, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, you've heard that saying, right?
Yes, sir, I
But
have.
a picture can sometimes be slightly misleading, can it be? In some situations.
Yes, sir.
All right. For example, you can have something that may look like it's going straight because of camera angle, but may actually not be going completely straight. That happens sometimes, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you can have a situation when you're talking about a vehicle where when it brakes, I guess I'm going to use my hand here. vehicle going straight, kind of think of it as going at a 180-degree angle, right?
Yes,
When
sir.
it brakes, it's going to start pitching a little bit, isn't it?
If you slam your brakes, you'd expect that.
Okay, and then it's not unusual in situations where there's a highly chaotic, stressful traffic situation where someone might steer the wheel one way or another, right?
That is possible, yes, sir.
Okay, so those are the kinds of things that can affect the angle of a truck, okay, where on one angle on a camera, it may look like it's completely flat and straight. There may be some slight variances depending upon the driver's reactions. Fair?
That's kind of fair. I'm kind of confused by what you're saying.
I'm confused too. Let me try that again. Okay.
Oh my
What I'm trying to get
God.
at
It's
is,
a train wreck.
we cannot make an assumption that at the time that the truck was shot, it was at a level 180-degree angle, right?
I'm going to object again, 702, scope of his expertise. When the truck was struck, he's not a shooting reconstruction expert.
Judge, he's a traffic vehicle crimes expert.
If you can answer the question,
Okay, it's not safe to assume that the truck was at an even 180 degrees at the time that it was fired upon, correct?
I don't know exactly at which point and which bullet we're talking about. I mean,
At the point where the truck was shot,
yes, sir.
okay, you get me with there, right?
I don't know exactly which one of these shots it was struck. I have
That's
no
not my
clue.
question. That's not my question. You're thinking I'm making this more complicated than I am, okay? At the point the truck was shot, let's start with that. You understand the truck was shot,
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that.
okay? You're not able to say, because this could be important later. It may not be important with you, but it may be important later. You're not able to say one way or another if the truck was at a perfect 180-degree angle or if it may have been at a slight angle due to brake being slammed, acceleration, or steering, correct?
I am not able to say no, sir.
Can I have just 1 second, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Look, let me ask this very directly. You do not know exactly where Mr. Earls was standing at the point that he shot the gun where the bullet hit
You're
into
right.
the vehicle.
I don't know the exact spot. I mean, you can look on this video and the China Garden video and try to place him, basically.
You get generally where he is, but you can't, and I'm asking this for purposes of precise measurement, okay? We know that generally he's where he is in that video right there, I get that. But for
Sir, he says for precise measurement earlier, just a few minutes ago, it didn't matter about the time. I mean, either it matters or it doesn't matter. This defense, you're right, the defense, they are arrogant and unprofessional, Cindy. They are just, I knew Oso was like that, but I don't know who this other trial attorney is, but yeah, wow.
for precise measurement purposes, okay?
Mhm.
You can't state he was exactly X number of inches or feet away from any reference point at the time that he fired the bullet that went into the car.
From this video, no, but from the other video across the street, you get better reference of kind of where he is standing.
You get a better reference, but you can't state with any precision, right? Like you couldn't measure exactly where he was standing, right?
With the 3D point cloud, I could actually fly over to that spot and place him in that area he's at right now.
Ooh.
If he were there, you can't do that now, can you?
Well, based off of your videos, if you have a person, you have objects you can use for reference, like I did with the tire mark, with the lane line right here, I can say, hey, the lane line is near the tire. I can measure from that spot.
I get that. You don't know where he was standing when he fired the bullet that went into the truck.
I don't know which bullet is exactly, no, sir.
Okay, so because of that, you can't state that you can measure exactly where he was standing when the bullet was fired to hit the truck, right?
By using the videos
This is
of all
yes
the
or no.
videos?
Can I get permission to please just continue over him?
Finish your answer.
By using all the videos, you can put together pretty much as close as you can from the muzzle flashes. You'd match muzzle flash.
That was the right one, guys. That was the right one. I didn't know. I played the wrong one. That little sound that's. Whoo! Y'all calm down, people.
Flashes from where he's standing, and there is objects of reference. That's why I took my 3D scanner and I placed it at
Objection
several.
non-responsive.
The non-responsive part that you objected to, please answer just the question.
Yes, sir.
Here's what I get that you not want to answer this, okay? But you don't know precisely. You cannot state to this jury precisely where Mr. Earls was standing as we're in here right now. You, okay, investigator Bledsoe,
Yes, sir.
cannot state with any precision where Mr. Earls was standing when he fired the bullet that went into the truck. Yes or no?
No, sir. I don't know.
Thank you. Do you know the measurements that you took here? Do you know if those were given to an investigator?
Right.
Last name of Flossie.
Yes, sir. We gave all the evidence we gave to you guys was presented to her as well.
And she relied upon these measurements you gave her?
That's what I'm assuming she did. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you provided the data that she then used to generate whatever she's going to use in her testimony.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
And that's fine. Let me show you what's been marked. Let me show you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit number 10. All right, is that a, that's from the crime scene photos. Do you remember reviewing that?
Yes, sir. I have seen this photo.
Okay. And it is one of the crime scene photos that was provided to you for your review that you used to help in the totality to make your opinion, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Judge, I'm tendering defense exhibit number 10.
Yeah, no objections, Judge.
We go objection made, defense is 10 will be admitted to evidence in the closed, sir.
Thank you. All right, at some point, this Mr. Alvarez's truck, I guess something happened here. The brakes were smashed, or it accelerated, or it turned, but it did something that was enough of a force to make all of the, or a lot of.
Sir, why are you guessing? I'm sure it's on video what his truck did to show how all this shit got out on the roadway. He's guessing now. I'm sure it braked, twisted, blah, blah. Sir.
The stuff that was in the bed of his truck fall out, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is this relevant?
Did you take any measurements or anything, or were you told to do any investigation as to what kind of forces the vehicle may have had to lead it to do this, to lead it to expel all of the stuff from the bed?
No, sir, but reviewing the video was a heart acceleration that caused it to come out.
Thank you. Thank
Judge,
you.
I'll pass the witness.
Pass the witness now. You've just been
At this time, the statement offer states
asshole.
exhibit number 5.
No objection. It's already in.
Cindy, right? Right?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Do you have any objections to state number 5?
No.
We go objection made, defense is 5 will be admitted to evidence in the closed, sir.
Judge, states exhibit number 5, just for purposes of the record, I apologize. And Judge, may we retrieve the larger TV just briefly?
Is the jury okay?
Okay, so they have to go get the big TV. They're reeling in the big TV like we're in elementary again. So you gotta plug it in. Right, Cindy, we're smart
Yes,
as
sir.
we
I
can
just,
be.
when we're done, I'm gonna
need
ask
law
you, how many gunshots we hear, okay?
I have a YouTube degree.
Yes, sir.
over here.
Yes, sir.
Officer Bledsoe, you're a certified peace officer in the state of Texas, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
As part of your annual training, do you undergo trainings regarding the uses of firearms?
Yes, sir. We do.
And aren't you certified in certain aspects of firearms?
Yes, sir.
So although you may not be able to opine about things that a firearms examiner can, you know what this gunshots sound like, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can tell what muzzle flash is, right?
Yes, sir.
But you're not a shooting incident reconstruction, are you?
No, sir. I'm not.
So are you aware of whether or not, for shooting incident reconstruction, that diameter, the circumference, and the depth of the entrance of a gunshot projectile is required to determine the angle at which it was fired?
Objection, leading.
Repeat your question.
Are you aware about whether or not you would need to know the angle, the diameter, the width, and the depth of a projectile entrance to be able to make that determination, since you're not a crime scene, a shooting incident reconstructionist?
No, sir. I'm not familiar.
Objection also assumes facts, not evidence.
It's overruled. You may answer the question again.
No, sir. I'm not familiar with it.
I'm just going to show you a larger version of State's Exhibit number 85, okay?
Yes, sir.
So right here we have the Chase Bank, correct?
Yes, sir.
So one's 49 Winkler. Would it be fair to say that that's over here, that's over here as it pertains to the camera that we're viewing right now in State's Exhibit number 5?
Yes, sir.
So about a block or two away.
Definitely. Yes, sir.
And that's the video that we're viewing now.
Yes, sir. It is.
Investigator Bledsoe, are you able to make out the make and model of the car that we just saw screeching across State's Exhibit number 5?
Yes, sir.
What was the make and model of that vehicle?
It was that black BMW that was originally at the ATM.
Okay. I'm now going to show you State's Exhibit number 1, Chase surveillance bank video. Oh, and I apologize. The question, how many shots were there?
I counted 10. I think I heard 10.
10 sounds consistent with gunfire shots. Would that be fair to
Objection,
say?
leading.
Please don't read the witness.
Would it be fair to say that that's how many you heard?
Yes, sir.
Objection, leading.
Mr. Rose.
Okay, white deposit. Okay, now it's running.
What do we see there?
A muzzle flash.
What do we see there?
A muzzle flash.
What do we see there?
A muzzle flash. You can see grass popping up those well.
He has good eyes to see grass popping up because I didn't see that.
What do we see there?
A muzzle flash.
How many is that so far?
We're at 4 right now.
Would it be fair to say that between the one that you saw taking the defendant shooting next to the vehicle and this one, were you able to see any in between?
From this camera angle, no, sir.
I'm not going to publish State's Exhibit number 3 with the court's permission. As a certified peace officer, Mr. Bledsoe, when a person extends their arm up, are you able to tell whether or not they're actually shooting a gun?
With Defendant Earls, you can see the muzzle flash. So that's a good indicator of the muzzle flash.
So right now, as a point of reference, where do we see the robbery suspect?
He's just past or right at the chase sign, essentially.
Based on the chase video, what has the defendant already done as he's exited the vehicle?
The defendant, could you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
I apologize. When the defendant exits the vehicle and then the robbery suspect is at the chase sign, what does the defendant do next?
He's getting ready to start taking a shot at him.
As the defendant crosses into the grassy area, how many times has the defendant already shot? Based on the chase video.
Right now we're at about 2, I'm assuming.
What do we see right there?
We see the truck is behind the fence and everything. I can't see the original robber suspect, and you can very faintly see Defendant Earl standing back there by the car.
Now I'm going to go back just a little bit here.
Yes, sir.
What do we see right there?
Mr. Earls is standing in that area now, where you just kind of had your mouse hovering, and then the truck is basically still just behind the fence line right here.
And so at this point, if we're looking back at State's Exhibit number 1, the chase video, and we're shifting to this video, would it be, you tell me, is it more clear in this video or the chase video as it pertains to the other muzzle flashes you see from the defendant's gun?
Objection, Your Honor, I don't understand what that means. Convoluted question.
You understand the question?
I think I know what he's trying to say.
I'll just rephrase, Judge. Mr. Bledsoe, as it pertains to the muzzle flash that occurs after the first 5 or 4 that we saw in the chase video, what video best depicts the muzzle flash? The 226 Winkler video or the chase video?
The chase video shows Defendant Earls' shots, and if there was a shot by the robbery suspect, we'd be able to see it a lot better on this angle.
And I want to direct your attention to Mr. Earls over here in State's Exhibit number 3. And if you need to step down, let me know. Investigator Bledsoe.
Yes, sir.
What do we see right there?
I just saw a muzzle flash again.
Okay, what number is that so far?
That would be, I think we're at 4 right now. for combining the two videos. 5, 6, 7.
Would you agree with me that as it pertains to, and you tell me, are you more qualified to analyze surveillance video and digital evidence, or a digital evidence for investigator?
A digital forensic investigator.
And I apologize. I know that was a little unclear. So as it pertains to the number of muzzle flashes in a video, would it be fair to say, when it comes to those things like that, although you're not a shooting and reconstruction expert, you're at least able to tell when a firearm is discharged?
I think any person can look at the video and see a flash from the end of a gun.
So at least based on what we saw here, we've counted what is it, 8 in these 2 videos. How many?
About 7 or 8 right now. Yes, sir.
And how many did we hear in the audio?
We heard 10.
I just want to review 2 very short things. I'm going to go frame by frame here. This is that same still that they showed you. Remember that?
Yes, sir, it is.
Do you see any muzzle flash there?
No, sir, I do not see a muzzle flash.
We're going to go back over here now. I mean, I guess you could call that extending your arm, but I mean, do you see any muzzle flash there?
Objection to counsel testifying.
Please don't testify.
Do we see any muzzle flash there?
With him extending his arm right now, no, sir, I do not see a muzzle flash.
I want to talk to you about what a black box is. You tell us, since you're the reconstruction expert, what is a black box?
So the black box in vehicles today, you guys, is your airbag control module. Basically, it's a life-saving procedure for you. So basically, you're involved in a crash, there's an algorithm enabled. So something inside of the car, it's like an accelerometer in your phone, basically. It's saying, oh crap, something's happening with this car. Let's deploy airbags and save lives. So those events are happening in between 0 to 300 milliseconds is when those airbags are deployed, essentially. It's built to save your life, basically.
And, you know, as a shooting reconstruction, as a vehicular crimes reconstruction expert, do you always get the black box from a vehicle after an incident's occurred?
No, sir. Sometimes they're damaged for how severe some of our crashes are. Sometimes an event is just not triggered. Sometimes you have older vehicles that have been involved in crashes and crappy companies don't replace that module, so it doesn't deploy the airbag to save your lives. There's several things that can cause it not to deploy.
That drone that you used to capture some of the state's exhibits that you testified to yesterday.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you have that with you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you show us what it looks like?
Yes, sir. This is such things. It's this with the controller, you guys. With this remote controller attached to. It's a DJI Mavic 2.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to fly them.
Yes, sir.
Brought his-
I do.
That was so cute. He brought his drone to court. That's it. Wow. Just wow. Okay. I'm not even gonna lie. That's cool as shit.
You want to show you a photo that you took?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now approach the witness, judge. Take your time putting it away. I know that's sensitive technology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's expensive. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 79. Is that a still from the video that we watched yesterday?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, and it's a fair and accurate still from the video that was captured by your drone already introduced into
Right.
evidence.
Yes, sir, it is.
Tender to opposing counsel, State's Exhibit number 79.
No objection.
With no objection, State's Exhibit number 79 will be admitted to evidence and published.
Mr. Bledsoe,
Yes, sir.
is that you right there?
Yes, sir, that is me.
Okay. So when you took this aerial photo, what were you attempting to capture?
Basically trying to just capture the layout of the entire scene from an overhead standpoint. Just kind of like a top-down view showing where the Chase Bank is, the entrances and exits to this ATM, the street itself, stuff like that.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Briefly, Judge, you don't know the frame rate of the camera that was in States. Is it, which one's the third one? Was that 2?
Number 3.
3. That black and white one we just saw. You don't know the frame rate of that camera, correct?
The camera or the video itself?
The camera that was taking the video. You don't know what the frame rate is.
You could right-click, click properties, and actually get the frame rate.
Do you know the frame rate?
Offhand for that video, no, sir.
Thank you. Okay. See, it's not hard. You don't know the aperture of that camera, do you?
What an ass! Did y'all say? Y'all hear that? See, it's not that hard. Look, I want to fucking punch. I'm sorry. I'm cussing a lot tonight. It's Sunday night, okay? I may even smoke in a minute, okay? It's one of those nights, but man,
You could right-click, click properties, and actually get the frame rate.
Do you know the frame rate?
Offhand for that video, no, sir.
Thank you. Okay. See, it's not hard. You don't know the aperture
It's
of
not
that camera,
hard.
do you?
No, sir, I did not.
Here.
And we talked about muzzle flash. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, sir.
A muzzle flash can be dependent upon a lot of different things, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, guns aren't flamethrowers, right?
They are not.
All right. So muzzle flash can be affected by things like type of firearm, true?
Yes, sir.
Barrel length,
Yes, sir.
okay? And it can be affected by type of ammunition it's being used, right?
Yes,
It
sir.
can be affected by caliber, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're aware, they talk to you a lot about firearms here, you're aware that there are, for example, Remington, Hornady, there's a lot of very popular ammunition brands that actively market for defense rounds that have low muzzle blast, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not a firearms expert.
Okay, he asked you a bunch of questions about firearms, but you're not a firearms expert.
No, sir, I'm not a firearms
Okay.
expert.
And then as far as the black box goes, they were talking to you about all the reasons as to why some data may not be there, but at the end of the day, there was never an attempt to get any black box data from any vehicle in this case, was there?
No, sir, I'm not aware of any.
And because of that, we'll never know what data they could have captured. Will we?
We do not know, no, sir.
Pass the witness.
Nothing further for this one, Judge. From the state, yes, sir.
Yes, subject to recall.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Who's your name? I think we can start the Zoom, Judge. They want to take a break? Sure, that's okay. We're gonna get on Zoom. I'll take a break when you come back. You always time.
Okay.
Okay, no.
So they're gonna break. So let's fast forward. I don't know what that is. This is like some Zoom video. Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna see some Zoom video. No, only when I stream, and the only reason I'm just being honest. This is me being blunt as hell. I drink coffee when I stream to keep from smoking. I would sit here and smoke constantly when I stream, but the coffee keeps me from smoking. So that is why I drink coffee, and I only drink it when I stream. So that's my it's my comfort. It's my my little babysitter for something to do with my hands, because I get anxious and the first thing I want to do is light up and just, so drinking coffee gives me that calmness that I don't do that. So
Thank you.
I'm State Officer Color. And before I proceed, Judge, I want to give the firearm, which is State's Exhibit 120 to Sam.
And just for the record, State's Exhibit 120 is a firearm, and Deputy Sam of the Harris County Sheriff's Office is just clear in front of the presence of the street. And we're gonna start it on Zoom.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Sir, please raise your right hand. There you go.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
You may proceed, State.
And Judge, should I go up there?
Yes, sir, please. I think it's easier.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Why don't you tell the jury your name?
I'm Officer Nicholas Plummer.
And we see you're in a automobile. Tell us where you are, and we're all going to be jealous.
I am in the great state of Hawaii.
So you're on vacation.
Correct.
And you realize that defense has been gracious enough not to make you testify in person, although we were willing to fly you back from your vacation, right?
Absolutely. I thank the judge and I thank the court.
Well, it's the defense you should be thanking.
Thank you to the defense as well.
Was that one of the best conversations we had a couple of nights ago? That we weren't going to fly you back? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so
Great news.
let me get this going so we don't lose you on Zoom and get back to your vacation, because I think you're going diving in about an hour, right?
Okay.
Okay. How long have you been with Police Department?
For about 4.5 years.
And prior to that, what did you do?
I graduated from college, Texas A&M Kingsville.
And not only that, you played football for him, correct?
Yes.
And at the time, on February 14, 2022, how long had you been on the force?
I believe at that time it was almost 2 years.
Okay. And now, we did send you your offense report supplement, and did you receive it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that evening, sir, were you asked to go to a particular location where a robbery victim as well as the suspect was at?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that Tony D. Earls?
Yes.
Now, when you got there, was he there on scene?
Correct.
And was he cooperative?
Yes.
And did you or another officer ask him where the firearm was, and he voluntarily said where it was?
Yes.
And did you go and retrieve the firearm yourself?
I did.
Okay. And did you in your supplement state the serial number of that firearm?
Yes.
And can you read to the record or state to the record what that serial number was?
The serial number is going to be Tom Lincoln X-ray 70074.
And what was the condition of the firearm? Meaning, was the magazine in or out? What was the condition of it when you retrieved it?
When I retrieved the firearm, it was as what we call cleared, no magazine inside the firearm, and the chamber was locked up.
And was the defendant asked where the bullet was that was in the chamber before it was cleared?
Yes.
And what was the answer for that purpose?
I believe the answer to that purpose was every time that you fire a weapon, that the round gets chambered in. So we're trying to have all the magazines, the rounds accounted for.
Okay, and maybe you didn't understand the question. My question is that the round that was in the chamber, did you say you put it back in the magazine?
Yes, you did say that.
Okay. And then did you count the number of bullets in the magazine?
Yes.
And do you remember how many there were?
I believe there were 7 bullets in that magazine.
That's correct. I know I don't think I can show you, but this, let me see. And you can trust me that the serial number that you read out was the same one that's on the gun. You normally would do it this way. Does that look like the gun?
Yes, it does.
If I was to say this is the magazine and the 7 bullets that you retrieved, does that seem right?
Yes, that's correct.
And again, they were separate and the bullets were inside the magazine when you got them, correct?
Yeah, yes.
All right, this time state officer states 120, 121, and 122 to the best.
I see these judges, no objection to those exhibits.
With no objection, may state 120, 121, and 122 will be admitted to evidence in a published record.
Thank you. So here's what I'm planning to do, Richard. And officer, do you remember the capacity, I can show it to you, of the magazine that you recovered? I don't know if you can see that.
I believe it was 12 rounds.
Very good. You're correct. And with that, Judge, because I don't think you can see the whole thing.
Mr. Marquez has to come up here, if you have any, whoever's taking the witness, I apologize.
I was gonna have him identify the defendant, but,
I can move this to.
I don't know. I'm gonna have y'all can. Can't give you. I can see yours. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. They're gonna stipulate to identification that you got it from him, okay? So with that, I got some witness, and thank you so much, officer, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Marquez, you might have to stand up here to be on the.
Yes, sir. Officer, thank you for joining us via Zoom. I'm going to make this quick so you can get back to be in a much better place than any of us are. So that night when you went to see Mr. Earls, I think this was already established. I just want to make sure we're clear. He was completely cooperative, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And he already had the firearm in a safe condition for you to retrieve, correct?
Correct.
And he voluntarily went with you to get transported to give a statement, correct?
Yes.
All right, enjoy your vacation, sir. We pass the witness.
State,
Nothing further, Judge.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Please call your next witness.
State calls, Ms. Lambert, Sarah Lambert. So,
I'd rather be here, but whatever.
Okay, this might be where I switch streams. Let me see who's coming up. If she's in black and white, I'm gonna switch over.
Thank you.
Please take a seat. If you do me a favor, speak loud and slow, roll up your chair. If Ms. Wiltshire is ever looking at you, that means you're speaking too fast.
No,
State
that's
and
not who I
proceed.
thought it was.
thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Could you please state your name to the jury?
My name is Sarah with an H, Lambert, Lambert.
And I can already tell you're soft spoken kind of like me, so let's make sure we use the microphone, okay?
Yes, sir.
Just roll up a little bit closer then.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I currently live in Katy. I used to work for Houston Forensic Science Center in Houston.
And what was your educational background?
I have a master's in forensic science.
And how long did you work for the Houston Forensic Science?
I was there 7 years.
And you're here to testify regarding the case number 2022-01966, is that right?
That is correct.
And tell us what your involvement in this case was.
I processed 2 vehicles that were involved in the case at the vehicle examination building. We call it the VB.
And explain to us what that building looks like, or the lot, I should say.
It's a small building surrounded by a fenced lot. We're attached to HPD's Houston Police Department's tow yard. So the whole thing is surrounded by one fence, and then you can walk between the 2 lots.
So what was your job with the Houston Forensic Science Institute?
I was a crime scene investigator.
So there was somebody that has already testified, Matos Perez, so it's kind of the same unit at the time?
Yes, we were in the same unit.
And so did you have kind of the same responsibilities? Sometimes you go to the scene, sometimes you process vehicles?
Yes, I think just a month before I had started just doing VEB cars. We were trying to streamline that.
And again, the philosophy is the Houston Forensic Sciences attempts to be independent of law enforcement. Good to say?
That is fair.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
You may, sir.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 124, 125, 126, 7, 8, 29, and 30. 6, 7,
Sir, that's a pile. We're gonna zoom you because that's a big pile.
I took while I was at the VEB.
And is that of a Ford F-250?
Yes, it is.
And do they fairly and accurately depict the way that vehicle looked on that day?
Yes, they do.
I'll show you 173, 174, 175.
Oh,
That's
State Officer 124 through 176. 124 to 176.
Yeah, then we need a minute. I think that's like 50 each.
And I'm not gonna go over all the photographs, I promise. We're seeing 124. Obviously, this is a picture of the front of the vehicle that you processed. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
And 125, you can see the window tint. Was it rather dark compared to most window tints?
Yes, it was.
We're going to 126. Can you explain to us what this is?
Yes, that is the exterior rear passenger door. That's going to be the window and the window trim just above the door handle.
And you're taking pictures of the front seat.
Correct.
So while you're at Houston Forensic Sciences and you're processing a vehicle, is it somewhat like a crime scene that when you take a photo, you're taking every angle, every part of the vehicle just to document it?
That is correct.
Just don't isolate it. The main thing is in the back. You're just not going to take pictures of the back. You're going to take pictures of the entire vehicle.
Yes, that's correct.
However, there is some significance here. 131. That's obviously the front seat, right?
That is correct.
And does 132 show us anything in this case?
I believe this would be the driver's seat and the driver's floor.
And 133.
This is again the driver's area. The left side of the picture has the driver's floor. The top of the picture is the driver's seat. The right side of the picture is going to be the B pillar, and this is the floor where the door would shut.
And what is that picture of?
That was a metal fragment.
Explain to us what a metal fragment is.
So Houston Forensic Science Center takes any part of a projectile or the bullet. If it's in a piece, it's considered a metal piece, a metal fragment. I believe that one was copper in color, and it looked like, excuse me, a copper jacket.
And we're going closer up. This is 134. And now let me show you 135. What is 135?
That's just a closer view of the metal fragment.
Now, first witness, Judge. Trade states 178. You recognize it?
Yes, sir.
And what is it?
That would be the metal fragment that I collected and the original envelope that I collected it in.
This time, state offers 178 in its contents. And there's what opposing counsel claiming.
No objection, Your Honor.
The motion is made, 178, and its contents will be admitted to be published.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. No objection, Your Honor.
178 will be admitted to
Now, this was found on the driver's side.
Correct.
Between the seat and the door.
Correct.
Seven. 138. Now, this is which door?
Okay. I want to give a quick content warning because that looked like it might have had a little blood on it. We're all adults here, but this is my content warning. We do know that, you know, we do show some weird stuff. Okay, so we're prepared.
This is the interior rear driver's door window.
So we're in the rear side behind the driver's seat.
Correct.
And this is the window. Now, we notice some specks or whatever that is. Can you explain what that possibly could be?
Those were defects to the tint in the window on the inside of the window. So something had hit and tore the tint, and then also those were just very small defects in the glass.
Okay. So it's defects or damage to the actual tint, not necessarily the glass. Is that fair?
Yes.
Now, I know you're not allowed to offer opinions and things of that nature, but what in the past have you seen in your processing vehicle that would cause something like this?
That's very consistent in vehicles when there's an impact on the opposite side. So it could be an impact from somebody smashing the window or shooting a window or a car accident. It's consistent with debris flying through and hitting the window.
And I'm sure 139, there's kind of that, but is that just a closer look at it?
Correct.
And then 140. So this is the defect you're talking about.
Correct.
Now, did you take any samples or anything like that, or scrapings or anything?
No, I did not.
141 and 142. All the same window.
Correct.
And 145, what are you seeing here?
This is the rear driver floor. So the top right is going to be the rear driver seat, and the bottom left of the picture is the running board where the door shuts.
And we see stuff along the running board. Can you tell us what that is?
Those are various pieces of debris. Some are little pieces of glass. Some are unknown. And then on the left side, there was one more metal fragment, almost a boomerang shape.
And is this a better picture of it in 146?
That is.
It is?
Yes, it is.
As well as 147?
Correct.
Better, swing shut, Commissioner. We'll show you 177. And what is that?
That would be the metal fragment as well as the original envelope it was in.
And I should ask you this before. How do you know that it's the same fragment that you collected?
Well, by appearance, it appears the same, as well as this is my envelope, my handwriting, and my seal. So I'm assuming that what I turned in was still in it.
Okay. This time, state offers 177 after tendering to opposing counsel for no objections.
I understand. Proceeding. No objection, Your Honor.
Objection made. States 177, we didn't have any proceed. They published.
Thank you. And it's very small. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
In 149, who is this located, do you remember?
This was on the rear driver's seat.
Now, in hindsight, would it have been a good idea to collect all of the blood items in the vehicle, or would you not necessarily do
I
that?
object to the form of the question, Judge. There's no reference to blood in evidence at this time. Good point.
So we see something that's red here. Would, in certain cases, would it be necessary to test that in the blood and things of that nature?
In some cases, yes, it would be necessary.
And in hindsight, sometimes you just take all the blood and then see if investigators need it to be relevant?
If I haven't had any contact with them, then yes, I would take it all and see if they need it.
Okay. But you did not collect this item?
I did not collect it.
To show you 151, and where is this located?
This is I believe it's the center between the rear passenger and rear driver seat.
Now, at first it looks like it's just a jacket, but there's an item here. And what is that we're looking at?
That's the door lock that I believe used to be on the rear passenger door.
They show 152. And what are we seeing in 152?
This should be the rear passenger seat and the rear passenger door closed.
So when you said it,
Here, add me back up here. I took me off because I wanted to be sure we get the whole picture. But that was the door lock. So because remember where they showed the bullet hole in the window? Did it hit that door lock and knock it off? That's the first thing that came to my mind was did the bullet knock that door lock off when it went through the window? Because they showed that one that was in the window.
appear to be consistent with the top of the lock is this the lock you're referring to?
That is the one.
So now let's look at some close-ups of the top of that lock, which is 153. And we held in hand 154, is that right?
That is correct.
Now, when we're talking about that top block, I'm going to show you 156. This is a closer up. And is that what you're referring to when 150?
Okay, see, I was right. That bullet went through right there at that door lock and busted that tip off of the manual door locks where that bullet went through. That's what I was assuming.
And is that what you're referring to when 153 that appeared to be the top of the lock in 156?
Yes, sir.
And that would be the rear passenger seat door.
Yes, sir.
And this is 157. You see a bit of a buckle here. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I believe in 158, you're taking a picture of another one of the locks that was still intact. Show us. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. This should be the rear driver that was intact.
$157. But now again on the outside of the back passenger door. Is that right?
Correct.
160. And then 161 is a closer up. Now, remember, you're not a firearms reconstruction expert, are you?
No, I am not.
And in your role as a crime scene unit officer at that time, were you somebody who would work on trajectory and things of that nature?
No, I did not.
In fact, your SOPs wouldn't allow you to. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
So when you're collecting this evidence, is that for somebody else to potentially look at?
Yes, sir. My role is more documentation.
And if it's a different type of surface, sometimes you could use a trajectory rod, but you would offer no opinion. Is that fair?
That is correct. In order to use a rod, you have to have two surfaces with two holes. Less than that, we're not allowed to use one.
I'm going to look at this lock a little bit closer. This is, for the record, 163. And then this is 164. Tell us what's going on here. Why are you documenting this?
This is just a close-up of where I believe the projectile entered. It's showing you the window glass that's broken, as well as the tint bending inward. There is a bit of a hump like a hill, and that often is consistent with something traveling through there. And I was just showing a close-up of what I believe shows what happened in the angles.
And to the best of what you can testify to, explain to us why you think this is what happened and why this picture is relevant.
Well, when a projectile goes through the window, the tint pushes out and often stays out. It's got that like a glass powder coating, and it stays in that position. It's right in front of where the door lock was that I found on the opposite side of the vehicle. So I would say the pressure and the contact broke that lock and sent it to the other side of the vehicle. Because I can't do anything with angles or trajectory, I was hoping that the photographs that I took would also show that.
So it's fair to say, in your limited capacity of documenting and retrieving evidence, you're basically seeing something yourself, and you're basically documenting as best you can for someone else to potentially look at.
Correct.
Then 165, what are we looking at there?
This is the same area, but from the outside.
And 166?
The same area on the inside.
And you're doing something here in 167. What is that?
So that hump or that small hill that was by the door lock, I sliced that and lifted it and photographed to see if there was anything there that needed to be collected. And I was just showing that it was just fabric. My glove is there to sort of, it's hard to see black on black.
So is that from 166, and now you're looking at it? Is that how you're doing it?
Correct.
In the back passenger seat. You have a red substance, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't test it or anything of that nature?
I did not test it.
Why would you test it when you know what happened? You know that she was in the back seat. I mean, let's not be.
Now in 171, did you notice anything at all in this one? We're just taking a picture. And we have here, there is nothing for here.
Oh, yeah, no, that it's just a documentation.
And how about 172?
That was just a little bit of a defect or maybe glass debris that is the top, sort of by where the door handles you would grab on the rear passenger area.
Now, as far as the processing of that truck, did you look for another defect caused by a firearm other than the one by the lock and the window?
I did, but I did the interior exterior vehicle.
Did you happen to, did you even know that fuel had been lost from the vehicle in order to look for another defect?
I did not know that.
And now I'm showing you 173. This is a different vehicle. Did you process this vehicle as well?
Yes, I did.
And was that swaps for DNA and things of that nature?
Yes.
And 174. 175. And 176. That was all the same vehicle. Is that accurate?
Yes, it was.
you said you used to work for Houston Forensic Sciences. Are you employed yet or in between jobs?
No, I'm just spending time with family right now. I'm not working.
And when did you leave Houston Forensic Sciences?
I believe the last couple days in May.
Thank you. That's what I said.
Thanks.
Do you want me to go now, Judge?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'd like to go into the next one. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you left in May, you said?
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, quite a few people kind of left in May, didn't they, from the CSU unit
There was
around that time?
more people than me, yes.
I'm not going to go into the specifics.
Sure.
Putting the curveballs. Let me talk to you first about your training. How long did you say you were with the CSU
Irrelevant.
unit here in Houston?
7 years.
So then, do you remember the days when the CSU unit was part of the police department?
When I was there, there was no sworn CSU. It was all civilian at that time.
I'm sorry, civilian and,
There was no police officer CSUs when I started.
okay. And where were you trained? Like, did you just start out with Houston as a CSU, or were you trained previously somewhere else?
Yes, I previously worked for Stockton, California for their crime scene unit, and I was there for 5 years. We did the same types of activities.
And where were you educated relative to this type of work?
I got my master's at Nebraska Wesleyan.
And where I'm going is I'm just trying to figure out, I know we've heard a lot about CSU investigators currently with the Houston Police Department, the Houston Forensic Science Center. They're kind of limited in scope. They're more about collecting and documenting evidence. And did you ever work in a capacity where you had a little bit more freedom? In other words, where you could, for example, use trajectory rods and stuff like that while you were processing items of evidence if you thought they were necessary or it might help the investigation?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. My first job in Stockton, we had a lot more leeway. Our SOPs were a lot less regulated, and we were allowed to do more processing and make more decisions ourselves.
Okay. And I guess under the current SOBs, so let's talk about the SOBs back in February of 2022. You'd agree with me that beyond the scope of observing, documenting, and possibly collecting, if you were to do anything more than that, then you'd have to get a request from, for example, someone with HPD. Like in this case, say maybe the lead detective, right?
Correct. They would need to ask for it.
District Attorney's Office can do that also, can't they?
Yes, they can.
In other words, so the jury understands, I mean, you guys just don't work in a vacuum. You can have communications between the detectives that are working the scenes, detectives who might be interested as lead detectives in things in the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And also, if the District Attorney's Office is prosecuting a case, then they have the ability to contact you actually by email directly. We often see requests to do certain things, right?
I don't know a lot of the DA regulations. They communicate with the supervisors. I didn't get a lot of direct communication from them.
But they can communicate with your supervisors, or they can, as you know, they can communicate with the detectives and tell them, this is what we need for our prosecution. Can you do this, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. Like, for example, and it may not have applied to this case, but just generally speaking, if they need an item to be fingerprinted, then certainly they can request that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go over a few things with you. I want to address some things that Mr. Jordan brought up first. And that you did recover a couple fragments from the vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I want to eliminate from the jury any confusion they may have, because sometimes some of us, like myself, we don't have a lot of firearms experience. I want to talk to you about a bullet. I'm going to kind of simplify it. A long time ago, it was described to me by an expert as an M&M. You have the shell, right? Well, obviously you have the casing it's in, but the bullet itself has a shell and then it has a core, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And upon impact, depending upon what it hits, whether it might be glass, in this instance, the window, or it could be the trim, a bullet can break apart, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And when it breaks apart, pieces can go in different directions, right?
Yes, sir.
So the fact that you found multiple fragments in this case, or 2 in this instance, that doesn't mean that 2 full bullets were recovered from inside the vehicle, correct?
That does not mean that.
Matter of fact, they could be particles or pieces of one bullet that upon impact split up, right?
That is correct.
And we know it went through the door because let's face it, we see the bullet hole. You'd agree with me there, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's safe to say that in looking at the photographs, and I'll pull it up in a minute, but I'm going to try to stay in my seat for a little while because I've been told I tend to wander around the courtroom a lot. So everybody saw the bullet hole picture. For clarification, it's
I'm gonna stay in my seat because they say I wander around. Get out, sir. Come on.
pretty clear to you with all your experience that the actual bullet entered the door, not the glass, right? Does that make sense? In other words, it didn't hit the glass that caused the hole in the trim. It was more like the hole in the trim is what caused the glass probably to break, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to cover a couple of areas here, some things that I made some notes on. I guess, let me do this, John. Where is send me some exhibits?
No.
Good, sorry. I didn't do what I meant, that's right. Okay. I think 125 is a good example. Listen, this is kind of important because we've heard a lot about this during the trial, but you documented the tint on the window, and when you received the vehicle, was the back windows are certainly up still, but were the front windows up or down, if you recall, because I saw in your notes you documented them being windows up. So is that the condition you got them in?
Yes, this would be the condition the vehicle was in. I believe the rear windows were up and the front were down.
Okay, because I saw in your notes, I thought it said, okay. It's really not that important since you are an expert in the area. We've already heard testimony that the windows were rolled down after the event. So the condition of the front windows isn't really relevant, but take a look at that window. You'd agree with me that you cannot see in the vehicle because of the degree of tint to that window, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And certainly any of the marks that you referenced where materials might have hit the tint and damaged it to a certain degree in certain spots, that would have occurred after the shot or the bullet entered the vehicle and broke apart and caused particles of something to cause the damage, right?
That is correct.
So that any light that would pass through those defects would have been present at the time the bullet was shot into the car, right?
Yes, sir.
And if I'm just looking at it, to me, it appears that if someone were sitting in the back of that vehicle, the back seat, especially if they were kind of low, that you wouldn't really be able to see them from the outside. And this is a daytime picture. But even during the daytime, you can't see in the car, right?
That's correct.
Fair enough. Let's see. There's some pictures and evidence where there was some fluid leaking out at the scene before the car was towed. Did anybody bring that to your attention?
No, sir.
So no detective asked you to get under the vehicle and check it for damage, did they?
No, sir.
And I take it, well, I guess let me go back one step. You have the ability to put vehicles on a lift, right?
Yes, sir. We do have one lift.
Okay, I mean, you can move the vehicle, put it on a lift and look underneath it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you didn't document any bullet holes of any kind, did you, under the vehicle?
I did not check the undercarriage, sir.
So you don't really know if there was in fact fluid. Was it leaking? Do you remember if it was leaking when it was in your yard, your storage facility?
I don't recall any leaking.
Okay. Just want to make sure it's something that can be done. For example, if damage was caused by hitting a curb or any exterior damage, you have the ability, the means to make that inspection, right? It would just be a matter of someone who's in charge of this investigation requesting that you do it, right?
Yes, sir.
There were some items in the back of the truck, correct?
I believe there was.
Did you remove the items from the back of the truck and examine those?
I believe I looked through them, but didn't take everything out.
Okay, fair enough. And you didn't document any bullet holes of any kind on any of those items, did you?
No, sir.
If you did, you would have, if you saw something you believed to be a bullet hole, you would have obviously documented it with a photograph, right?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty common practice. You also took a lot of pictures. How many pictures did you take total?
Of the Ford F-250, I believe it was 196. Of the BMW, I believe it was 58.
Judge, I need just a moment. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Ma'am, I'm not, at this time, I'm not labeling these as defense exhibits. What I want to do is just see if you recognize them. Okay? And I think there's one, two, 6.
Yes, I do recognize those.
Photographs you took, right?
They are.
Might have one of these.
Yes, go ahead.
Judge, I believe he has to mark those exhibits.
Well, hold on, John. I'm going to invite you up for a moment. Okay. Could you join me at the bench? One of you guys, I want.
Okay. Yeah, he's quietly alluding.
You took over 100 photographs. You I don't remember where I was.
Yeah, he's quietly alluding to it. He's like saying, there's stuff going on, but we can't tell you what it is. So that's why I put it all up in there in the chat. It's there. I pop it up on screen in case chat disappears and it's not for replay. That's why I throw things up on the screen. But yes.
Okay. So you took over 100 photographs. You examined the exterior of the car, and I see noted that you did not, there was no other visible damage to the exterior of the truck, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what I'm specifically curious about is, had you seen what appeared to be a bullet hole in the back portion of the truck near the bed area, would you have photographed it and documented it?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't see anything like that, did you?
I did not.
Okay. Now, just a couple more questions, Your Honor. And I believe I want to look at 164. Well, actually, we can start from the exterior. State's Exhibit 126, specifically the hole right here, that's what you believe to be the bullet hole, correct?
Yes, sir.
And my associate wants me to ask at what angle you took this photograph.
Well, I can't say what angle. I was standing approximately by the driver's door when I took that.
Okay, so that's good. So what you're telling us then is that, and I'm just going to do this, I'm not a real scientific kind of guy, I'm kind of a matter of fact. So you were standing near the front passenger door, shooting the back passenger door, correct?
Yes, yeah, I think I said driver. I was on the passenger side.
Yeah, not the driver, not the driver.
Yes,
sir. But we mean, I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yes,
You're
sir.
standing here shooting this way to capture that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that where you took all the pictures?
No, sir.
Okay. That's just that particular one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I guess let me do this then. Can't really see the hole clearly, but in this picture again, and if you'll bear with me, there's a method to my madness, but you're clearly shooting on an angle, right?
Yes, sir.
This one is State's Exhibit 59. It sort of captures the whole side of the truck, but you can see slightly that it does also pick up the bullet hole, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that a direct 90-degree shot you're shooting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but it's not a close up, right?
Correct.
Okay. How about this one? Is that directly straight on 90 degrees? Or is it off? I'm just trying to figure out if there's any angle to it at all on your camera.
What does the
I
angle
don't think there's
matter?
any angle to that.
Are you certain, or is it possible there could be?
It is possible. I was just standing in front of the vehicle.
And regarding the height of the camera at the time, well, it would be your eye level, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, for example, if I was I'm already a short little Italian, but if I was a real short little Italian and I'm holding the camera, then I would be at a different angle, right? Function.
That is correct.
Relevance,
Here's a close-up.
please.
That's 164, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's straight on,
Yes, sir.
90 degree?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, for the purposes of this trial, it might become important. So I have to know 100%. Was that shot right at 90
Yes.
degrees?
I could not say 100%.
I want to punch him.
Same with 165. Again, it looks like it's off a little bit to the left, so I don't know where the center of your camera is or how you're positioned. Would you agree with me that you wouldn't be able to testify that 100% certainty you were shooting right at 90 degrees?
That one is not at 90 degrees. That one has the hump and the hole lined up. So that one, it was not a 90 degree.
Same with this one, 166.
It is not 90 degrees to the defect.
And also on 167, you're pulling back the, and let's talk about that for a moment. Well, let's put it in perspective. Hold on. Can you pull that down? Can you move it up? This is, I know this seems a little boring, but this could become very important later on in the trial, so I have to go over the objection to the narrative. Well,
Please don't testify. You may continue, sir.
you can say reasons for it. I think that's all right, John. John, I'll move on.
Next question, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay.
He's going to turn around and talk to the prosecutor. Get out. I got to rewind that. Oh, my Lord.
Objection to the narrative. Well,
Please don't testify. You may continue, sir.
you can say reasons for it, but I think that's all right, John. John, I'll move on.
Next question, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so let's start out with
Wow.
this.
Right?
Let's show 164. Now you're shooting the inside of the bullet hole, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with me that, like you talked earlier about one of the reasons you didn't do a trajectory rod or wouldn't have done one is because to do a rod to show trajectory, you have to have two holes, one in and one out, right?
Correct.
And the way the trajectory rod, I always have problems with that word, trajectory rod works, is you stick it through the hole, right? And it sticks out from where it goes in and where it comes out, right?
Yes, sir.
It shows you the direction of a hole, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the purpose of it, okay? And I guess I gotta ask you, I think you already testified, you didn't do one, right?
No, this vehicle was not an appropriate candidate for a rod.
Tell me about that.
Well, it would have gone through the trim, and the trim is not solid enough to hold any sort of angle. So the rod would have destroyed any possible trajectory.
And so I think you even noted that, put that in your notes, right, that this was not appropriate, right?
I believe it did.
And based on your training and experience, that's why not only did you attempt to create or mimic the trajectory of this bullet yourself, but you didn't call out any reconstruction experts to assist you or attempt to do it, correct?
Correct, I don't do that.
Okay. Well, you didn't, I think you said at some point, like if you see something that you think might need further testing, you do have the ability to reach out to the detectives or anybody involved and request it, right?
We can reach out and let them know what we think.
Okay. Doesn't mean they'll listen, right?
Does not at all.
Okay. So what you did in 167, it appears to me that you pulled back, here's the hump that the bullet created, right? You can see the defect, right? It created this defect?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then in 167, it looks to me like you were exploring further to see if the bullet or any part of the bullet was still stuck inside the door under the molding, right?
Correct, also to see if the damage went deeper.
Okay.
And
Basically see if you wanted to make sure you didn't leave any additional fragments uncovered, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And I think one of the other problems with trajectory that you had, that you noted and talked about, was the fact that the trajectory changed because it obviously knocked the lock off of the door, right?
That's correct.
And that's what we see in the other exhibits when the little piece of lock is laid in, right?
That's correct.
Judge, if you'll give me a moment, I think I just got done. Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Just one question. I forgot to ask you, is that truck that you examined in motor vehicle?
Can you?
Is that truck that you examined in motor vehicle?
Yes.
Nothing for the judge. I do have a couple of questions. Sorry.
Don't be mad if you do.
You know my job. John, can you focus?
He is so out of line, so much.
The F-250. Okay, so first, one other thing, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but when you were processing the F-250, you did uncover ammunition in that vehicle, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, you documented it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, I guess the clothing, am I understanding correctly, no one asked you to recover the clothing from inside that vehicle?
That is correct.
Detective Farrell never called you or emailed you or anyone else, DA's office, HPD, anyone involved in this case, never requested that?
No one requested that.
Moving to the BMW. Yeah, approach your honor.
You may.
Well, yeah, first of all, let's talk about the processing of the BMW. So they asked you to, you mentioned briefly swabbing the BMW for, I guess, to provide samples for DNA testing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so the areas that of interest to you were would have been the driver's side door, right?
Correct.
Okay, who made that request?
Farrell. It was the same email request, and my assignment was all the same. It was on there. The request for each vehicle was in the same email.
Okay, so somebody sent an email and told you what they wanted you to look for.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you know who sent that email?
I believe Farrell sent it to my supervisor, printed it and gave it to me.
Do you have a copy of it today?
I don't, with me. No.
Because you don't have your file still, do you?
No, that stays, the company retains all that.
Okay.
It stays in the case file.
Okay, so I guess that answered my other question, that Detective Farrell had some input, right?
Yes, he did provide the email, but then I also did have a phone call with him during processing.
With processing, okay. And let's talk about this briefly. So the reason that you swab, first of all, how do you swab?
We use sterile water and sterile Q-tips. We wet the swab and then wipe the area that we think there should be DNA. Then we put that in a box and it gets put into property for the lab.
Okay. And you know from your training and experience, for example, I'm gonna come up there. If I'm speaking to you, this is just hypothetical, and I lean over and I touch this structure here, that there's a possibility that I could leave my DNA on this structure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, so that's the whole purpose, right?
Yes, sir. They were contact DNA that I collected, and that would be from that touch.
Okay. And in this particular case, the reason that was of significance is because the video shows that the robber leaned into the car, correct? Or, well, you wouldn't know that, would you?
I was told that someone had leaned into the vehicle.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's a secret because it's in evidence that we see the robber leaning into the car, so that would probably serve as a purpose or reason why they requested you do it, right?
Yes, sir.
You don't do the actual testing, right?
Correct.
You're not a DNA expert.
Correct.
So, sure. You mentioned that Farrell called you also, is that true?
Yes, sir.
And so you recall speaking to him about this case, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you remember the specifics of what that phone call was about?
Yes, I needed to know what to do with the ammunition that was found in the Ford F-250. It was not in my instructions, and I'm not permitted to make my own judgment call, so I had to call him and ask him what to do.
Okay. Beyond discussing what to do with the ammunition that was in the F-250, did you ask him any other questions?
I just always end with, is there anything else, anything new, anything changed?
Do you remember when the phone call was?
It was during processing, but I don't have a time.
Did Farrell talk to you at all about the possibility, I'm going to use the layman's term, wanting to remove the black box from this F-42?
Objections to hearsay. Repeat the question.
Well, I think she had brought it up, Judge. I was asking, did y'all, well, I'll rephrase it. Did y'all discuss during that conversation, either you with him and with you, whether or not, were you ever given an instruction to remove the black box from objection still hearsay? You can answer it. It's,
No, sir.
okay. They didn't send anybody out during your watch to assist in the processing, did they?
No, sir.
They didn't send anybody out to remove the black box, did they?
No, sir, that would happen when we were complete. They don't happen at the same time.
Okay, I think here's, let me just double check before I pass you. I want to make sure, so there were photographs. Of the BMW in evidence, right? Yeah, here it is, okay. When you talk about, that would be Tony's wife's car. Do you know that for a fact, or did anybody tell you who that car belonged to?
No.
BMW though. So I'm going to show you one more exhibit. Ask you if you identify its defense exhibit, recognizing defense exhibit number 11.
It's like it would be the rear passenger side?
Well, I mean, you took this picture, right? One of your processing photographs.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Such
and
a
I'm not
pass.
Going on about it, it's just an exhibit that was, a photograph that was left out, so to opposing counsel. Any other question?
Right.
So rude. I mean,
Okay. Judge, I'm going to pass the witness.
peer pressure. No.
What's so funny?
State your only question first witness.
No.
This witness be excused.
Yes.
Defense, this witness can be excused.
Mr. Elson.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
This witness can be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, you're excused. Enjoy y'all's lunch. Let's do like a 45-minute break. We'll start you for 45 minutes. Let's take care of business though.
I'll ask for the jury.
Mr. Guerrero, Mr. Guerrero.
Arm itself.
Okay, this is where they go to break, and this is where the other channel picks up, and it's a cleaner picture. So we're gonna switch over. All right, we're gonna switch over.
Dr. If you can speak loud, small voice, okay?
Yes, sir.
We'll start as ever, that means you're speaking too loud.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, I'm Melissa Nally. It's Melissa Nally.
Who are you currently employed with?
With the Houston Forensic Science Center.
And in what capacity?
And my current title is Operations Coordinator for the firearms section, but I've been a senior firearms examiner since 2014 at the Houston Forensic Science Center.
Talk to us about first some of your background. What is your most recent education in regards to graduate and then postgraduate at the Houston Forensic Science Center firearms specifically?
So I received my bachelor's degree in biology from Lake Forest College in 1998. But then I was part of a 2-year formal training program with the Illinois State Police specific to firearms identification. When I transferred to Houston in 2014, I did go through some training as far as learning how things are done at this laboratory, but I've been doing firearms examination since 2001, both in Illinois and in Houston.
Do you have to complete continuing education to maintain your status as a firearms examiner?
Yes, we have continuing education trainings every year, and we have an annual conference specific to firearms identification annually, and I try to attend as often as possible.
I want to talk about firearms comparison. We'll get right to it. When you have a firearm and you have spent cartridge casings, are you able to confirm whether or not the spent or fired cartridge casings were shot from a specific firearm?
I am able to do a microscopic comparison of fired cartridge cases to test fires from a firearm and form an opinion whether those spent cartridge cases or fired cartridge cases were fired from that particular firearm, yes.
First, let's start with class characteristics and then individual characteristics.
Okay, so if I'm comparing some fired cartridge cases that are submitted to the laboratory to a firearm, I'll first look at the class characteristics, meaning the features of that item, such as the caliber, the shape of the firing pin impression, the overall style of markings that are on that cartridge case, and I'll determine if those are consistent with test fires that I create using the firearm that's submitted. If they're different calibers, then I would not even go on to do any kind of microscopic comparison of those items to that firearm because the class characteristics would be inconsistent.
So, and just to clarify, you have your firearm, you have your spent cartridge casings, and then you have your test fire cartridge casings. Right?
Correct. The test fires would be created using that firearm. So that's me generating those test fires by using the firearm to shoot into a water tank in the laboratory in order to obtain those test fires.
Would it be fair to say it's almost like creating a sample to test?
Yes, that's fair.
Okay. And so we know now that you can do spent casings to a firearm or to the test fires. What about metal fragments, projectiles, jackets?
So when I test fire that firearm, the bullets go into the water tank and I obtain sample fired bullets. I can compare those fired bullets to fired bullets or fragments that are recovered at a crime scene or are submitted to the laboratory for comparison, yes.
Are you always able to determine and make the conclusion of a positive identification or maybe a exclusion for a specific metal fragment?
No, I'm not always able to come to a definitive conclusion. Sometimes the conclusion I come to is inconclusive, meaning I can't identify or eliminate the possibility that these were fired from a particular firearm.
What are some of the reasons why metal fragments in particular present difficulty in your analysis?
Metal fragments can be either part of the jacketing of a bullet or they can be part of the core, which the core of the bullet doesn't really come into contact with the firearm in any way that would leave tool marks for me to examine. Additionally, fragments are typically very distorted and may have passed through hard materials and be damaged. So it's hard for me to see the pattern that the firearm has left on that item when it's been damaged by whatever it passed through.
Okay, so do you want to talk about individual characteristics next or the general components of a cartridge case?
We can, either way, individual characteristics would be good.
Okay, let's go there.
So as I mentioned, I wouldn't do a further comparison if the class characteristics were inconsistent between the fired cartridge cases and the firearm that was submitted. If the class characteristics are the same and say they're the same caliber, they have similar shaped firing pin impression, I will go on to look at individual characteristics. Those are unique features of an item that are created through use, abuse, and wear. They're not predetermined by a manufacturer. They're like a firearm can get unique markings on its breech face because it's been used and abused over the years. And so that will cause it to have unique markings on it that will be impressed onto the cartridge cases that are fired in that firearm.
Talk to us about some of the chemical components of a live round and then what happens when it's expelled from a firearm.
So may I refer to my demonstrative?
Yes.
I brought a demonstrative of a live cartridge. This is obviously much larger than a cartridge that you would use, but for the purpose of showing everyone. So a lot of times people will refer to what's a cartridge as they'll call it a bullet, but this is actually a cartridge. It's a single unit of ammunition. The bullet is just the projectile portion. The cartridge case is a second portion. These two separate during the firing process. And then on the head of the cartridge case is the primer. The primer area is where I look for a lot of the markings that I use for identification purpose, because the firing pin of the firearm will strike that primer area and leave an impression. Additionally, slamming against the breech face of the firearm will create all kinds of markings on this head area for me to examine. The bullet obviously separates and goes down the barrel of the firearm. There would be gunpowder inside or propellant. So that's the fourth and final component of a cartridge. But obviously my demonstrative doesn't have that. So during the firing process, those two items separate and are marked by different portions of the firearm.
Okay, so what's ejected from the firearm itself, is that what we're referring to when we say a spent cartridge casing or just a cartridge casing generally?
Yes, the fired cartridge case or spent cartridge case would be this portion here. And it does get, in the case of a semi-automatic pistol, it will extract and eject this portion during the firing process. It will come out the ejection port and it could land on the ground or whatever is near it.
Okay, so when you say land on the ground, wherever it's near it, let's say for instance, even if they're stationary and they're shooting a firearm, are all of the cartridge casings going to land in the same exact spot?
No.
Why is that?
It's dependent upon things like how you're holding the firearm. A lot of times there could be something obstructing where a cartridge case may shoot out and bounce off of something. They're not going to all end up in this neat little pile. It's just not how it works.
So for example, someone is shooting a firearm like this and then comes over here to shoot it like this, those cartridge casings, they're going to be in different directions.
Correct.
In your experience as a firearms examiner, are you aware, I'm talking about firearms straight from the manufacturers, are you aware of any firearms that exist that don't expel a muzzle flash?
In my experience, there are flash suppressors, but in my experience with firing firearms into our water tank in a laboratory setting, I have not experienced one not having a flash.
And then what about the cartridge itself, the live round? Are you aware of any, are you familiar with any that you've experienced don't have the chemical components that would cause the flash?
There can be some suppressing chemicals with the gunpowder. However, I have not personally experienced not seeing any flash.
And remind us again, why do we see that flash?
So during the firing process, as I mentioned, the firing pin is going to come forward and hit this primer. And inside of that primer is a priming compound. And when it's crushed, it generates a spark, which lights the gunpowder on fire. So the products of combustion, it's like a mini explosion happens inside of this cartridge, and that forces the bullet down the barrel, and it forces the cartridge case to slam against the back of the gun, the breech face. So during that process, it's like a tiny explosion. So what you're seeing, that flash, it's the process of combustion occurring.
I want to turn your attention to the reason why you're here. Did you perform an analysis under Houston Forensic Science Center case number 2022-01966?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Did you perform an analysis on a firearm, specifically the firearm with serial number TLX70074?
Yes.
And was the request for comparison to both spent or cartridge casings as well as metal fragments?
Yes, there were two separate requests. One was to compare cartridge cases and one was for fired bullets and fragments. Yes.
And we'll get into the two individual requests in a moment. But at the time that you completed your analysis for the two requests, did you memorialize them in a report?
Yes.
Was that report made at or around the time that you performed the analysis?
Yes, it was.
Is it the common practice of the Houston Forensic Science Center to keep these reports as well as your analysis as part of the regular course of business?
Yes.
And are they in fact kept in the regular course of business?
Judge, I'm not going to object to the report. If he's on the internet, that's fine.
Perfect. So first, so that you're testifying to something you're aware of, why don't you review them very briefly? This is State's Exhibit number 179 and State's Exhibit number 180.
Okay.
Are these copies of your reports that you performed the analysis for and then subsequently memorialized?
Yes.
Fair and accurate copies?
Yes.
At this time, I will tender to opposing counsel and offer into evidence State's 179, State's number 180, Your Honor. Yes, no objection.
No objection made. States 179 and 180 will be admitted to evidence made public.
Thank you, Your Honor. So first, let's talk about the analysis that you performed, State's Exhibit number 179. Just comprehensively, what did you compare here? Let's start with the firearm and the spent casings.
So I believe the one that you have up is the bullets and fragments.
Thank you. I apologize. 180. What do we see here?
So there were 5 fired cartridge cases submitted, 5 fired 9mm Luger cartridge cases, as well as 9mm Luger Taurus model PT-111 G2C semi-automatic pistol, serial number TLX 70074.
And did you compare those to the items submitted by the Houston Police Department?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So let's just start with item number 00301. When we see lab item number here, why is it different than the agency item number?
When items are submitted to the Houston Forensic Science Center, they're assigned a unique identifier by the laboratory.
Okay. Let's start with EM number 1. What is your understanding of what EM identifies?
Evidence marker, so that would be something from the crime scene, a number that was given to it at the crime scene is my understanding.
Okay. So if I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 24, for the record, this has already been entered into evidence, EM1, and then as well as the envelope that contains EM1, were you able to make a determination as to whether or not it was fired from State's Exhibit number 120, the 9mm bearing the unique serial number TLX 70074?
I was able to form an opinion, yes.
And what's that opinion?
That this particular item was fired in the firearm, the Taurus that was submitted to me.
We'll do these in groupings here. As it pertains to EM3, EM4, and EM2, which are captured in State's Exhibit number 51, were you able to form an opinion about whether or not they were fired from that same 9mm Taurus?
Yes, I was.
And what is your opinion?
It was my opinion that those were fired from the Taurus.
Just for orientation purposes here, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 31. Obviously, this is going to sound very silly, but you weren't at the scene, right?
No, I was not.
You don't know where a person was standing when he shot any of these firearms evidence, right?
That's correct.
And to be fair, you don't even know who shot this physical evidence that we're looking at.
That's correct.
You're just making a determination about whether or not it was shot from this firearm, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to EM5 that's located in the driveway over here. What are we looking at in EM5, State's Exhibit number 63? Were you able to make a determination about whether or not that item was also fired from the Taurus 9mm? And I apologize. That would be in a subsequent report?
Yes.
But were you able to make that determination, perform an opinion?
May I refer to my notes to verify the number correlation? Thank you. Okay, so evidence marker 5 is the same as my item of evidence number 9, laboratory item 9. And it was my opinion that that was fired from the Taurus.
Is this a cartridge casing, or are we looking at something different here?
That's a fired bullet jacket.
Okay, so the part that is expelled out of the firearm from the barrel.
That's correct.
And you want to show us what we're talking about?
So this is a model of a fired bullet, but the jacket would be the outer layer. The inside would be a core. And oftentimes it's either brass or copper, the jacket would be. And so sometimes it separates from the core during the firing process often. So in this instance, it appears to be the jacket, not the core isn't part of that.
And then we're going to go to EM6. That's for that first request, right?
That's correct.
Okay. What is EM6?
It's a fired 9mm Luger cartridge case.
And were you able to make or form an opinion regarding that cartridge case?
Oh, yes, I was.
Okay, what's your opinion?
It was my opinion that it was fired from the Taurus.
Now let's talk about that second request that you mentioned that included EM5.
Yes.
When was that request made?
I know when it was completed. I'm looking for the date the request was made, and I don't see it offhand.
It is fine.
Okay, so I completed this August 15th, 2025.
And you see it here in State's Exhibit number 179. Who requested for this analysis to be performed? You don't even have to butcher it. It's mine.
You did.
Right?
Yes, correct.
Talking for now somewhere. All right. So let's actually just review very briefly what was submitted as part of that request and what was the request.
I was requested to compare test fires from the Taurus to some fired projectiles from a crime scene.
Okay. I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 134. CSU previously testified to it, but here I'm going to show you the actual item that you analyzed in State's Exhibit number 178. We know this is from the vehicle that was processed by CSU Lambert. What is your opinion as it pertains to item 01101? Was it fired out of that same Taurus? Were you able to form an opinion?
I was able to form an opinion on that item, and it was my opinion that it was fired from the Taurus.
The same firearm that we've been talking about?
Yes, correct.
What about item number 011-02? Now, just as a point of reference, again, obtained from the same vehicle. State's Exhibit number 177. Were you able to form an opinion?
My opinion was that that item was unsuitable for microscopic comparison.
And that's because, I guess just explain to us again why sometimes items are unsuitable for comparison.
Sometimes there aren't any tool marks or markings on that item that are the result of making contact with the firearm. They could have been a portion of the bullet core, or they could just be very damaged and distorted from the being fired through a hard object, or they're not a complete enough item. There's not enough detail on there for me to make a comparison to my test fires, for example.
Were any other items, I guess we can talk about that same report, State's Exhibit number 179. There is an item that references an ML number. What are we referencing there? What are you referencing there?
So there were 3 bullet items in a container with an ML number, and typically that's a medical legal number from an autopsy.
Were you able, and I'm sorry, what was that ML number that we see in your report?
It's ML number 20.
ML means medical legal. We learned that the first day of trial, guys.
2-0805.
Were you able to form an opinion about those particular items?
No, I was not.
Why is that?
The items were, there was not enough detail on any of them for comparison. They were not suitable for microscopic comparison.
Was the magazine associated with the Taurus that was submitted to the lab also submitted along with the Taurus?
Yes, there was a magazine submitted.
What was the capacity of the magazine that was submitted?
The capacity was 12.
That was 12, I'm sorry.
12 cartridges?
Okay, so it can fit up to 12.
That's correct, yes.
And I guess that also wouldn't necessarily include if there's a round in the slide or the
In the chamber.
barrel of the chamber.
Correct.
Now, just briefly going back to the ML number and the items that you received from the medical examiner's office, is it pretty common that the items you receive from the medical examiner's office are unsuitable for comparison?
It's not uncommon.
And why is that?
Well, as I mentioned, a lot of times fired bullets separate into the core, may separate from the jacket. And so core fragments are often unsuitable. And just the firing process, when a bullet passes through a material of any kind, it can damage that bullet and it can separate it into pieces. And so fragments of the core are especially, those are not suitable for comparison. They haven't been marked by the firearm in any usable way.
And when they fragment, I mean, like you said, it would be consistent, for example, maybe entering a human being's body.
That certainly can cause it to fragment, yes.
It could also fragment passing through, for example, a vehicle.
Absolutely.
As it pertained to ML number and the bullet core, the fragments, what was the weight of the bullet core?
Oh, I'm sorry, of which bullet core?
And that's item number 10-01.
Okay. The weight was 65.5 grains.
And then item number 11-01, that was retrieved from the vehicle. What was the weight of that?
That fragment was 24.2 grains.
And then item number 11-02, also obtained from the vehicle. What was the weight of that?
1.5 grains.
Approximately for 9mm unfired, unspent rounds, live rounds, what's the approximate weight?
For a bullet?
Yeah.
About 115 grains.
Okay, and that would vary on the type of bullet?
It would, yes, it would depend. Just a typical run-of-the-mill bullet for 9mm is about 115. It could be more or less. There could be 147. It depends on the style of that bullet.
Okay. And what are the different kinds of bullets, I guess, that you've come across? You don't have to give us, I'm sure it's an exhaustive list, but just generally.
Sure. I mean, it could be a full metal jacket. There's jacketed hollow points. There's total metal jacket. There's different styles of bullets.
Pass away, Mr. Honor.
Thank you, Judge. This incident happened in February of 2022. You were not asked to examine certain crime scene projectiles until August of this year, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about, Judge, may I approach you with this? Let's talk a little bit about firearm mechanics. I want to just visit with this a little bit so that we can make sure we've got a clear picture. May I borrow your demonstrative?
Sure.
Thank you. So the way that the firearm operates, for those who aren't familiar with it, is there's going to be something called a firing pin that strikes this area, this small gray area on your demonstrative, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that is that will ignite something called primer, right?
The priming compound inside of that primer causes a spark.
And that causes a spark that ignites what us lay people may refer to as gunpowder, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's actually the gases from that make the what us lay people would call bullet come out of the cartridge, correct?
Correct.
And then the bullet itself, Mr. also used the M&M example. I'll use the banana example. You've got kind of banana peel and the banana inside, right?
Yes.
And then sometimes, depending upon what the bullet hits, how fast, what type, etc., you can have situations where the peel kind of comes off of the banana in a when it hits something. Does that happen occasionally?
Right, the jacketing does separate from the core, yes.
Okay. And jacketing, again, that's the peel of the banana. The core is the banana.
In your analogy, yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about muzzle blast, because that's been an issue here. That the whether or not there is muzzle blast, that's kind of what we might refer to as fire that seems to come out of the firearm. How much there is can depend upon many different factors. True.
Yes, that's true.
The type of firearm could play a role, right?
It could, yes.
The barrel length.
Sure.
Whether it's a revolver or semi-automatic.
Yes.
Rifles, shotguns, etc. They're all going to have different levels of muzzle blast. Fair.
Sure, that's fair.
And even within the same type of general firearm, like a handgun or a semi-automatic pistol. And I guess let me clarify that for people who may not be familiar. May I approach the exhibit judge? All right, when we say semi-automatic, can you tell the jury what that means?
Can I use it with pistol? Okay, so a semi-automatic pistol is designed to fire one time for each time you pull the trigger. So cartridges are loaded into a magazine, which is inserted into the magazine well of the pistol. And then you chamber a round into the chamber of the firearm, you pull the trigger and it'll shoot one round. So that's, you'd have to release the trigger and pull again in order to fire a second round.
Now, some of us may have heard in the news or something about firearms that, the court reporter's going to kill me because I'm going to use noises here. But instead of pop, 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 maybe, the faster kind of firing, would that be called fully automatic?
I believe what you're describing would be consistent with full automatic fire.
That's where you pull the trigger once, and as long as you're holding it, rounds will continue to go out, correct?
Correct, as long as there's ammunition in the magazine.
That is not the pistol that's at issue in this case, correct?
That's correct.
And to be clear, the pistol that's at issue in this case, there's nothing inherently illegal about this pistol, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. It's the same kind of Taurus that can be bought at can be on the word this. Put it there. Can be bought at Academy or wherever, right? That's not some kind of exotic firearm that requires some special licensing. Correct?
That's correct.
Now, going back to muzzle blast, other things that can affect muzzle blast are caliber of the firearm, correct?
Yes.
I mean, a large caliber like a 44 Magnum may have a larger muzzle blast than a smaller caliber like a 22, fair?
It may, yes.
Okay. And in fact, in modern times with modern ammunition, there have been additives that have been added to gunpowder for certain ammunition where it gets marketed that it has less muzzle blast, right?
That is true, yes.
I'm going to show you what we marked as defendant's exhibit number 12, 13, 14, and 15. Without going into the contents, can you just take a look at those, please? Have you seen those?
I mean, I've glanced over them, yes.
Okay. And are these exhibits, generally speaking, are they advertisements?
Yes, they appear to be.
Okay. And are they advertisements for ammunition?
Correct, yes.
All right. And is this the kind of marketing like we were just talking about that some ammunition companies are doing?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to tender defendant's exhibits number 12, 13, 14, and 15 and offer into evidence. I will say for the record, there's a highlighted portion that I added that was not in there. That's not easy to see.
Can we approach Judge?
Okay. Approaching again. He just keeps looking down, bless his heart. I know, it wasn't intentional. He didn't mean to kill the little girl.
So are you familiar with the brand Winchester?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the brand Remington?
Yes.
Are those both very popular ammunition brands?
They're fairly common, yes.
Okay, and these aren't unique, like exotic things. These are things you can find at any gun store and a lot of sporting goods stores, correct?
Yes, they're pretty popular.
And you're familiar that there's a lot of that kind of ammunition that has the additives added to it to suppress how much muzzle blast there is, right?
It's not something that I'm specialized in, but I'm aware that there is something that can be added to suppress some of the flash, yes.
Fair enough. Now, as far as you're not, and I think I understand very clearly what your expertise is and what it is not, okay? You are not an expert in any kind of photography, fair?
That's fair.
Okay, so whether or not a fired weapon will have a muzzle blast that shows up on a video or photograph is something that's outside of your expertise, fair?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, as far as the way that a cartridge is ejected, may I approach the exhibit, Judge? In a semi-automatic firearm, when the trigger is pulled, the gases and springs work together to force the slide backward there.
Yes.
And that is where the casing will come out, correct? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that because I was imprecise. That's my bad. Where we see this orange part on this exhibit, we see a kind of a hole. When it slides out, a casing will be ejected. Is that fair? If there's a better way you want to put it, please.
No, a fired cartridge case would be ejected from the ejection port.
And the one thing I want to make sure that we're not going to try to do here later, when the firearm is pulled, when you pull the trigger, the slide goes back, it's ejected. I think we're all in agreement. You cannot say that there's any real way you can tell precisely where the firearm was fired by where the cartridge ended up. Fair?
I personally could not tell you where. Yes, that's
because
correct.
that distance can. Anyone that shot firearms knows that distance can vary. It can fall near you. It can go kind of far away, right?
There are a lot of factors that can affect where it lands.
Pass witness, Judge.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. From the state, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, subject to recall, Judge.
Thank you. Excellent.
The state calls Zachary Caldwell.
Judge, we approach. Sure.
Oh, and they went on a break. Let's see. Fast forward. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it is sad, Cindy. It really is. I know I didn't mean to kill her. Emotions were panic. Just right on. I know. I hate the whole thing too. It's really it's a rough one.
The witness has been sworn in.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. If you can do the difference between loud and slow, bullets on the mic. Yes, sir. We got water. This will start with the hearing. That means you're speaking sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, sir. My name is Zachary Caldwell.
How are you currently employed?
I'm an investigator with the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
What part of the office?
I work for the Digital Forensics Division.
Talk to us about generally what your day-to-day roles are.
I'm responsible for the intake, evaluation, and processing of digital forensic devices. That includes cell phones, digital video recorders, computers, flash drives, hard drives. I'm also responsible for our asset management. I set up forensic workstations. I install hardware. I assist with networking setup, amongst probably a dozen other tasks on a daily.
Let me ask you this. Before you worked as a digital forensic investigator, talk to us a little bit about your prior law enforcement experience.
Sure. I began my law enforcement career in 2005 with the City of Victoria Police Department. I spent about 3.5 years on patrol, some of those years spent as a field training officer. From there, I moved to a detective position where I worked crimes against persons. I worked aggravated assaults and sexual assaults primarily as my caseload. I then moved to a auto theft position where I covered auto theft and burglary. I spent about 7 years with the City of Victoria. I left the City of Victoria and went to work for the Cyper Independent School District. I worked cases. They started a school district out there, so I worked cases for about a year. I was selected to go work for a high school. After that, I spent about 6 years in a high school. I promoted to a patrol sergeant position, and I worked there as a patrol sergeant for about a year before I moved to the district attorney's office.
That was very comprehensive. Let me ask you this. Your day-to-day duties at the district attorney's office, they vary. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir. Very much so.
So sometimes you do what we call cell phone digital forensic analysis, duplicating the imaging of the cell phone. You can get text calls, things of that nature, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
What are some of the things outside of that you do on a day-to-day basis regarding surveillance videos?
So oftentimes we'll take surveillance video and we'll review that video. We'll get requests from the office, sometimes investigators, sometimes ADAs. We'll assist with video review. We'll assist with demonstrative preparation, basically things to show jurors like yourselves when it comes to courtroom testimony.
Talk to us about your training and experience with the types of software that you'd be using in those circumstances.
So in those particular circumstances, overall, I've had about 3,200 hours total of law enforcement training. 420 of those hours have been spent at the National Computer Forensics Institute. That's run by the Secret Service in Hoover, Alabama. 40 of those hours specifically were regarding digital video recording devices and the types of images and video obtained from those devices, including audio, and the software used to process those videos, and then taking those videos and conducting forensics on those, and then demonstrative preparation thereafter. Part of that training also included using AMP Software's AMP 5, which is, I guess, a more forensic-based program that allows us to look at metadata and to look a little more forensically into some of the video and audio files that we recover.
Talk to us about Camtasia.
Sure. Camtasia is a program that we use quite often to prepare demonstrative exhibits. It basically allows us to import video files and then segregate those files into tracks, basically, where we can move tracks around, we can put tracks together so that they run almost like a TV show. Just like you would see cuts in a show, we can create exhibits for trial that cut just like a show would cut into different scenes.
Okay, so specifically, in this case, did you review surveillance video and audio as well?
Yes, sir, I did.
Now you use the word cuts, but are you altering the substance of the video itself?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay, so when you say cuts, are you just transitioning between scenes? What do you, I mean, are we doing any?
I knew that question was coming, and I can tell you the defense is going to tear him up with that comment. I just have a feeling.
Editing and removing stuff?
We're not removing anything. We're simply, the way the tracks line up, we're transitioning to a different track. So if you were to think about it, imagine if you were to stand a loaf of bread on end, and all those layers of bread are different tracks of video files, and they're all playing at one time. And you're simply switching to a different one, and you're seeing a different one on the screen. If that makes any sense, that's the best way I know how to explain it. And as each track plays, you're seeing a different portion of video, even though they're all playing at the same time. And you can move those tracks around as to what you want to see on the screen.
So you're not enhancing video, like making, for example, muzzle flash go out further than it really does, are you?
No, sir, none of the video changes at all.
So you're playing different portions of video with audio?
Yes, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would offer State's Exhibit Number 4, surveillance video that is from 208 Winkler Street. It's been on file with the district. Sorry, it's been provided to defense, and the business record affidavit has been on file with the clerk's office for greater than 14 days. No objections.
We not get to make state number 4 be admitted to a public record.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you review a number of surveillance videos in this case?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you also review a video that had audio with it?
Yes, sir, I did.
Part. I'm going to pull me off screen so we can see his.
So, I'm sorry. Investigator Caldwell, did you also, you're familiar with what location these videos are taken from?
Yes, sir, I am.
So previously testified to by Investigator Bledsoe, this is a demonstrative of State's Exhibit Number 85, which is in evidence. This video from the apartment complex, that's 166 Winkler over here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the Chase Bank that's been referenced in front of this jury ad nauseum is over here on this exhibit, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so you take this audio, what do you do with this audio?
That audio is obviously part of this video, and both the audio and video were imported into Camtasia together.
Okay, I want to talk to you, before we get into that, about frame rates, or a rate of a frame, and the quality of the surveillance video.
Yes, sir.
Just, I guess, can you explain that to me?
Frame rate of a video is simply going to be how many frames per second that video plays at.
And does that affect generally the quality of the image that they're seeing? Or, I mean, how do you see the differences?
It will. The higher frame rate is going to offer more fidelity or more quality to the video. Anything below about 40 or 50 frames a second, you'll see a degradation in the video. It's simply not capturing enough data, or it's not playing enough frames a second for it to be really clear, especially if movement is occurring. So that movement, depending on how fast it's happening, the the camera isn't capturing enough data for it to be really clear. So the lower the frame rate, the less fidelity or the less quality that video is going to have. Anybody who's ever watched anything on the internet is familiar with low quality video and low frame rate video.
So the jury's reviewed and seen the Chase Bank video, the 226 Winkler video, the one that we just watched. I'm going to play portions of the 208 Winkler video, which is State's Exhibit number 4. And can you describe to us in the 208 Winkler video, and again, just so that there's some orientation to this. We have the Chase Bank. This is the monster of the State's Exhibit number 85. So we have the Chase Bank here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That was funny for you to see. We have 226 Winkler next to it, right?
Yes, sir.
That video is that black and white video.
It is.
And then we have 208 Winkler.
Yes, sir.
And then just on the other side of that, we have that 166 Winkler, the audio.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what we're about to watch here at State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is the video. We're going to get to see the whole action. Because remember, if you remember when I played, how did we get here to the trial? All we seen was a little part of him jumping the fence. We never saw more of like him coming to the fence. So we might get a better view of him and help with that picture that they put out looking for him, because he's still at large. Whoever this guy is that actually did the robbing is still at large, and there's a $30,000 reward for his information to his capture. So hopefully we'll get a better view of him.
You're going to see what I know to be the initial aggravated robbery suspect enter towards the left-hand side of the video. You can actually already see him towards the center left of the video. He's going to run towards the right-hand side of the video. As he comes up against that wall, he's going to run towards the camera, and he will jump the fence right there at the camera. And as he jumps that fence, he's going to make some movements towards a car that passes by, where it appears that he lifts his arm and points at the car that passes by. He'll then jump the fence and fall into that arm that opens the gate.
How does he jump the fence?
He climbs over the fence, puts his leg up on top of those spikes, and while he climbs that fence, he appears to be holding a handgun I don't recall if it's his left or right hand, but as you play the video, we'll be able to tell. And he also appears to be holding that handgun in such a manner, it appears to me that he's got his finger in the trigger guard of that weapon.
And that's while he's jumping the fence?
It is, yes, sir, while he's climbing over that fence.
So we'll just publish State's Exhibit number 4. Is that the movement that you just described to us?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay. Throwing his hand up?
It is, yes, sir.
And then what do we see here now?
So you can see that he has the gun in his...
Okay, just because I'm rewinding that. I want to see that again.
Is that the movement that you just described to us?
It is, yes, sir.
No clear view of his
Throwing his hand
face.
up?
It is, yes, sir.
And then what do we see here now?
So you can see that he has the gun in his left hand. He's also carrying something else. I was able to zoom in on that video in my looking at these, and it's evident to me that he's holding that gun in such a manner that his appeared to be gloved hand, and there's a finger through the trigger guard or possibly on the trigger of that weapon.
When you say, may I exhibit your honor? When you say the trigger guard or the trigger of the weapon, for example, that weapon was 120. No, it's not, but that's through here, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So he's jumping the fence with his finger through the trigger guard.
Correct.
You mentioned zooming in.
Yes, sir.
So we've been using VLC to publish some of these videos. Is there a way with videos like Camtasia or software like Camtasia where you can do the zooming in and you don't have to manually click like we've been doing?
There is, yes, sir.
And so did you take the, I'm sorry, we'll just finish publishing State's Exhibit number 4, I apologize.
Bam!
So did you take the audio from 166 Winkler and then compile the videos and lay that audio over the video?
Yes, sir.
When I say lay over, may I push the mixer on? I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 181. Do you recognize it?
Yes, sir, I do.
How?
This is a snip from Camtasia that shows the spectrogram on the bottom of the audio. And basically that spectrogram is a visual representation of an audio wave. And that's where it's laid up against the video clips of the DVR footage that I was also provided.
And is that what we see, or what we will see, I'm sorry, in the video that you and I just described as the layout?
Yes, sir.
This is a fair and accurate depiction of what that would look like inside Camtasia.
Yes, sir, it is.
At this time, Your Honor, the statement offers State's Exhibit number 181 to opposing counsel, sorry, offered into evidence intended to opposing counsel.
With respect to 181, will be admitted over objection republished, sir. 181.
Judge, may I have the witness step down just very briefly?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what we're looking at here in State's Exhibit number 181?
Yes, sir. So these are going to be once I review the footage, this is going to be of the Chase Bank, and these will be of the Winkler addresses as we move along in the video. And this is the audio portion of the video from the apartment complex. And what you're seeing here are spikes of the gunshots. Each spike you see is a gunshot, save for one. It's going to be tire screeching of a vehicle that's also in the area. Each one of those spikes, I was able to time with the video, beginning with one of the muzzle flashes. Each subsequent muzzle flash lines up with each audio spike that you see, or that you will see.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to make sure we're very clear for the record. When you say matching up, or when you're referencing the audios being matched with the gunfire or the muzzle flash, are you saying that you took every one of those 10 and lined them up with a muzzle flash by removing the time in between each one of them? Can you explain to us again what did you do with the first one? How did that affect the 10?
It didn't affect the 10 at all. So both files the audio file exists where it's at. And then the video file is laid in such a manner that upon that very first muzzle flash, and then as the video plays along, they sync themselves. There's no manipulation of any of the other files that occurs. So as the files play together, the muzzle flashes line up with the spikes in audio. And you'll see as the demonstrative plays, there was no time compression, there's no time manipulation, there's no video manipulation of those muzzle flashes. They simply occur when they occur. As you'll see in the demonstrative, the first flash lines up, the last flash lines up, and there's no manipulation in between.
So you're not removing time, adding time. You are synchronizing essentially the first sound and then the first muzzle flash.
Yes, sir.
And then the remaining are synchronized without you manipulating.
That's correct.
You're not enhancing it, are you?
No, sir.
And did you do that? I'm sorry, the speakers. Did you do that with State's Exhibit number 1, the Chase Bank surveillance? State's Exhibit number 3, the 226 Winkler surveillance? State's Exhibit number 4, the 208 Winkler surveillance? And State's Exhibit number 5, the audio file, the 166 Winkler surveillance video?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 108, the compiled videos. Have you had a chance to review the compiled videos that you created using Camtasia as we saw in State's Exhibit number 181?
Yes, sir, I have.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what you just described to us as the laying over the audio and the video files?
Yes, sir, it is.
And again, did you remove or fraction any of the time other than just transitioning between the actual videos themselves?
No, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, the state will offer State's Exhibit number 108 into evidence and tender it to the opposing counsel.
Renew our objection.
Over objection, State 108 will be admitted to evidence to be published, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Investigator Caldwell, is there more than one portion of the videos compiled in State's Exhibit number 108?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this first video here, what is it titled?
Video from Chase Bank with audio from 149 Winkler.
I apologize. We've been speaking about that Winkler address. It's the audio file, right? And so what are we about to watch?
This is going to be the video from Chase Bank as taken from the DVR footage with the audio played from the apartment complex overlaid.
And this is just the Chase Bank first.
That's correct.
And now that we're publishing 108, does the audio kick on at the beginning?
In just a few seconds, it does. It takes a bit.
And then some of that zooming in we talked about using VLC, are you able to do that within Camtasia?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Essentially, you're in a second without manually zooming in. You're going to zoom in, but you're not changing the actual video itself.
No, sir.
Okay, so what did we just watch there?
You watch the BMW SUV at the ATM. The aggravated robbery suspect runs up and commits the aggravated robbery. The defendant gets out of the passenger car or passenger side of the vehicle, pursues the aggravated robbery suspect, fires 9 shots, gets back in the vehicle. They pull the vehicle slightly forward. He gets back out of the vehicle, recovers something from behind the BMW SUV, gets back in the vehicle.
Slow down, please.
Yes, sir. I apologize. Gets back in the vehicle. They pull into the driveway and out into the roadway slightly. He partially exits the vehicle or opens the passenger door and proceeds to fire an additional shot above the door frame of the car towards the black truck again.
And we heard almost a tapping noise between shot 9 and 10.
Yes, sir.
Are you able, based on the sound, to determine where that is occurring?
No, sir. I wasn't able to determine where that sound comes from. Again, this is audio from quite a ways down the street. It picks up gunshots very easily, but there is ambient noise.
Okay, what's ambient noise?
Surrounding noise.
And then when we saw this 10th shot here, you didn't take audio and try and stick it to that 10th shot, did you?
I did not, no, sir.
So once you hit play on shot number 1, they all occurred in sequence as you see the muzzle flash.
Yes, sir.
And in fact, when we see the BMW exit the Chase Bank and drive down the street, we can hear it coming closer to the audio, can we not?
You can.
Okay, so the direction of where that camera is.
Yes, sir.
so what are we going to watch next?
This is the video from Chase Bank and 226 Winkler, the location just behind Chase Bank, with the audio from the apartment complex. So it's basically the first video that you saw with a video from just behind the bank where you see the aggravated robbery suspect run.
So in this video, are we going to see one of those transitions you described to us earlier?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, and where are we going to see that transition occur?
You're going to see that occur once the aggravated robbery suspect runs towards the dark area in the top of your screen towards the right. That's when that transition will occur.
Okay, I want to pause for just one moment. And we're going to talk about the upcoming video, but I'm going to talk about the one we just watched.
Yes, sir.
Why did you transition right there between those shots from the Chase Bank to the 226 Winkler address?
I wanted to show where the aggravated robbery suspect had actually gone. I believe there was some confusion initially on where he had gone and whether or not he had gotten into the truck or he had continued to flee behind the bank. So in looking at that video, I wanted to be able to demonstrate where he had actually gone. And I felt that made it extremely clear. Once he disappeared into that back corner, it's very clear where he's running. He continues to run right down that sidewalk through that business and just continues to escape that direction.
And in a second, are we going to see that transition also capture the vantage point, at least, I mean, for example, this Chase Bank video, State's Exhibit number 1. After we see the initial 4 or 5 shots, are you able to see the muzzle flashes clearly as you are the 226 Winkler address?
Once the transition occurs, you are not. You can't see them quite as clearly. If you play the video slow enough, you can see the muzzle flashes.
That second, or the grouping of muzzle flashing that occurs after the defendant walks into the grass area, is that captured better on the 226 Winkler address or the Chase Bank address?
I think it's debatable, but I think they're captured better. They're at a distance, but they're brighter on the darker video. But I believe on this video, they show up a little better if played slowly.
So frame by frame.
Yes, sir.
We saw the title of this video was call-outs. What are call-outs?
Call-outs are basically to help draw the observer's attention to specifics in the video where you want to try to help gain a little bit more detail or a little bit more understanding from the viewer in specifics that you want them to help understand. Phrasing or terminology that we want to help the jury understand something a little better, or the viewer in any instance, to better understand something or want to help them notice. That's really all a call-out is.
That's what we're about to watch.
You're going to watch the same video with some additions of call-outs, some things that are a little bit better explained to maybe help you understand the video a little bit more clearly.
Did you use the sound, what do you call them? The sound?
The spectrogram.
The spectrogram.
Yes, sir.
So you use that in this video?
Yes.
How do you use it?
It's used to point out each one of the muzzle flashes. It's slowed down a lot more so that you will be able to see the spike in audio on the spectrogram and see the muzzle flash at the same time in a lot slower presentation. This all occurs very fast. It's just a couple of seconds long. So I slowed it down quite a bit so that the juror, the observer, could see with a little bit more time to comprehend exactly what they're seeing.
Obviously, this is not real time, right?
No, sir.
But what we've watched so far has been real time.
That's correct.
Is there a muzzle flash or is there a sound on the spectrogram that you were uncertain of?
There was.
Okay, tell us about that.
I believe it was shot number 4, and it occurs right at a moment where the defendant is in front of a tree. It's exceptionally hard to see that muzzle flash because of the camera's lack of quality, for lack of a better term, but because of the brightness and the washout of that tree and the muzzle flash's brightness, and I think the camera's quality overall, there's just a split second or a minute amount of time where you can barely make out that muzzle flash in front of that tree. And what I believe to be a partial muzzle flash But the reflection and brightness of that tree shows up in that video in such a manner that I'm not 100% confident that it is a muzzle flash, but there is a flash of something in front of that tree. And it does correspond at that moment in time with a spike in the spectrogram.
In just a moment, we'll publish State's Exhibit number 108. Did you also account for noise being made by the vehicle? We're looking at State's Exhibit number 181 when
Yes,
it
sir.
came to the spectrograph.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you also, were you asked to determine what your opinion was about the robbery assailant lifting their arm up?
I was.
Were you also asked, because you didn't cut these videos or remove time from them, did you?
No, sir.
So when you're looking at the robbery suspect's arm, how are you analyzing that in regards to the graph that we're looking at right now?
So when he raises his arm, I compared that to the spectrogram, and I looked for any spikes in audio in the spectrogram, and I didn't find any corresponding spikes. Anytime you would expect to hear gunfire, you're looking for a spike in audio, and I just didn't see any. Anytime the defendant raised his arm, if you were to expect a gunshot, I would expect to see a corresponding spike, just like I saw with defendant's gunfire, and it wasn't there. He raises his arm a handful of times, I believe in a threatening manner, to either ward off attention or to try to gain a reaction, and you don't see a corresponding spike in audio.
Somebody.
Okay. All right. So with that, basically he's saying there was no other gunshots fired, that the only sound that they got from gunshots was all matched up to Mr. Earl.
I mean, could a person argue that during gunshot number 4, the assailant is the one shooting because you can't see the muzzle flash?
Meaning that they occurred at the exact same millisecond? I don't think that one could argue that. I think to have 2 gunshots occur in the exact same millisecond in time would be unheard of. And for there not to be a muzzle flash would be exceptionally inconsistent. One, the firearm didn't appear to have any type of muzzle flash concealment device, a muzzle hider, for lack of a better term, or a silencer. I don't think that would have occurred, no.
So in other words, the assailant that Rob didn't fire his gun is what they're saying. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm going to pause it for a brief moment here.
Wow.
States
Ain't denying
Exhibit
those
number
muzzle
108,
flashes.
You see a spike in sound that is not attributed a number. What is that?
That's the tires of the car screeching.
We also saw portions where you were pointing to a lack of sound when the robbery suspect had his arm extended. What are you trying to indicate?
The fact that, one, there was no muzzle flash and there was no spike in audio. That's what I alluded to earlier when you had asked me about the defendant raising his arm. That was the lack of muzzle flash and audio spike that I spoke about.
When you're zooming in and you're making a circle, what are you trying to identify?
We're pointing out the muzzle flash.
So I'm going to go back just a little bit so you can see that again.
I'm going to take me off screen so you can see the whole thing.
Pause it for a moment. What are we watching occurring right now in Stacey's Exhibit 108?
Sure. This is a split screen video of where the defendant is while the BMW SUV begins to exit the Chase Bank. Correction, not the defendant, the initial aggravated robbery suspect.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
You're not suggesting here that the defendant knew this man was about to jump the fence here in a second, are you?
No, sir, not at all.
Back on stage for a second. I'm going to pause to say something about that because I was just thinking the same exact thing. The fact that they can put all these together in these precise sounds and pull them out of it, it's just fucking amazing to me. I think it's so cool. I'm just in awe of this. Okay, I'll be quiet. I'm gonna take myself back down off the thing because I'm not sure if y'all can hear me when I'm not on screen because I can't see my microphone, but that looks like, hang on, let me move me out the way a little bit somewhere. I don't know, move me down a little bit. That looks like a cell phone and a gun, and you can see his finger is through the trigger like he said. Here, let me get my extra little magnifier on top of that. See? But that big brick looking thing looks like a cell phone, but he's got his finger in that trigger. All right, I'm gonna hit play.
What did you just point out for us right there?
Again, as he climbs the fence, his fingers in the trigger guard or appears to be in the trigger guard of the weapon.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Okay, so the call outs, obviously it slows it down a little bit. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
In reality, what occurred and how many shots occurred is better depicted on the first part of this video, right?
It is, yes, sir.
I want to talk to you about the addresses referenced in the video. One of them was 166 Winkler. I think in the video it appears as 149 Winkler. But from your understanding, is that the audio file that you laid over these videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The 10th shot here, when you're listening to that audio, it sounds a little bit different than the first 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why is that?
So when the BMW pulls out from the Chase Bank, it's out from under.
Do you have any training at all in how gunfires, the audio waves of gunfires, physics of how that works?
Here we go with the jerk. Here we go. Ready? Nope. Let's do something bad.
No, sir.
Okay, Judge, he's not an expert in that area. He's an audiovisual expert, but he's not an expert in the sound waves of gunfire. So that's a proper question.
Let me hear the state's response.
My question about the witness was why the gunshot sounds different in the audio file that he laid over these videos.
It's going to be overruled. May proceed.
So when the BMW pulls out from underneath the awning, the sound reflection is different. It's not against a wall. Sound is different versus when he's underneath the awning, you have a massive reflective wall or surface for that sound to bounce off of, just like being in a baseball stadium that's open versus closed.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, is there any way,
Yes.
it's not billboard on my website, I can see the difference? And just to be clear as to why the rules require me to sit, and I don't have a clue. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
That was a neat little thing you had where you could do the blow up. What's that called?
So zoom in.
Okay, yeah, the zoom in program that you had where you were zooming in on like the trigger and all of that. Not to overstate the obvious, but you'll certainly agree with me that on the night that this occurred, my client, Tony Earls, did not have the benefit of being able to zoom in on a still shot to see whether a finger on a trigger. Fair?
Fair.
Sir.
And a couple things I think we'll agree on. You're not disputing that he was the victim of an aggravated robbery, correct?
Correct.
And what makes a robbery aggravated is if a firearm is used, correct?
Correct.
And certainly you'll agree with me that when a firearm is placed in someone's face, that is something that will start to trigger a fight or flight response, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, as far as I want to talk to you about a couple things regarding the videos. And this is something that I may need for later, so forgive me for the stilted way in which I'm asking this. But if a video was recorded at one frame rate, can it be played at a different frame rate? Do you know the answer to that? I don't.
It can be played at a different frame rate, but you would have to manipulate the video itself, I believe.
Is he testifying? Do you know it? Because I don't. Sir? Sir? I'm sorry.
Recorded at one frame rate, can it be played at a different frame rate? Do you know the answer to that? I don't.
It can be played at a different frame rate, but you would have to manipulate the video itself, I believe, and alter it.
Okay. Do you know the frame rate of any of the videos that were given to you to compile?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you just tell us so we've got that listed for the record what they are?
Yes, sir. The frame rate of 149 Winkler was 30 frames a second.
Okay.
The frame rate of the Chase Bank videos was 15 frames a second.
Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a little slow. We had 30 and then you had 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The frame rate of 208 Winkler was 60 frames a second.
Okay.
And the frame rate of the frame rate of 226 Winkler was 60 frames a second, and 208 Winkler was 15 frames a second.
You said 15 or 50?
15, 1-5.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, your work as a police officer, basic police work, you want to let the evidence lead you to your conclusions rather than your conclusions having you pick which evidence you look at. Fair?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in this case, I understand you have a limited role, but can you tell us when you were first contacted about assisting in this case?
It was 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Who contacted you?
Maroon Katani, the assistant district attorney.
All right. And he works for the same office you work for, correct?
He does.
All right. And what was his request to you?
It was an email requesting assistance in building a demonstrative for this case.
What specifically, when you spoke with him, was he asking you to prepare for it?
I don't remember the specifics of the email.
Well, not the email, just in your conversation. I'm not holding you to like verbatim. Just give us an idea. You know, assistance is one thing. Like, what were
He
your
said
marching
build a
orders?
demonstrative.
Objection, Judge, to argumentative regarding the marching orders.
I'll rephrase. Okay, what were your instructions that were given to you?
Regarding the audio and building a demonstrative that contained the audio with the videos.
Did he ask you to compile them all together, like you did, or was that your idea?
It was a group effort.
All right. Now, as far as these programs that you use on this, these are the programs do part of the work, and the human does more or different parts of the work. Fair?
Fair.
There's parts. Basically, what you're doing is taking an audio file and trying to overlap it where you think it should start on the video file. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the decision as to where exactly it starts is a human decision?
It's up to the end user. Yes, sir.
Okay. In that case, that's you.
Yes, sir.
All right. As instructed by the DAs?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I made the decision on where to begin the overlay.
Okay. They told you they wanted this done. You made a decision how to do it.
Correct.
All right. So as far as what all you were given to do this task, did you make requests or were videos specifically given to you?
The videos and the business records affidavits were provided to me.
What all videos were you given?
I was given The videos that are contained within the demonstrative from the Winkler addresses, from Chase Bank, and then I believe one from a China Star restaurant.
All right, now the Chinese Star restaurant was not included in any of your compilation, right?
It was not.
Yeah, all right. But just so I can point people where I'm sure that I should have kept the billboard up. Nah. All right, so we're looking at the truck. You see the truck go out.
Right.
Yeah. Right now, stop it, please, Anna. You see right above, kind of where that the 2 of 2022. You saw some lights that were a reflection in the building, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that is.
Wait, I didn't see it because that thing was over it. I'm gonna back it up.
All right, so we're looking at the truck. You see the truck go out.
Right.
Yeah. Right now, stop it, please, Anna. You see right above, kind of where that the 2 of 2022. You saw some lights that were a reflection in the building, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that is the truck that was the Alvarez's truck, correct?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Okay. Anna, would you mind playing again? So we're playing. There's the router. Anna, can you pause it? All right, we see up there, kind of above that 14. Those are the brake lights of Mr. Alvarez's truck reflecting in the Chase building. Is that fair?
I can't
Can you back it up just a little bit? Because I want to make sure we're on the same page on this. And let me tell you what so you know, because I want to be fair to you. I want you to know what I'm asking you to do.
I know you may not have heard it, but it's in my ear, and so it's very sensitive. The guy on the stand is who it sounded like went like just sighed so loud.
Where we see the truck, the Alvarez truck starting to get. All right. Can you pause it real quick? All right, now, right there, we see the robber he had come right by where the Alvarez truck is, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, let me here, and I'm going to keep it paused. Let me just tell you real quick so you know what I'm asking you to look for, because it's not fair to you if you don't know what I'm asking. The pickup truck, as it goes down, I want you to keep watching. Sure. We already heard testimony yesterday about this, and I think you're going to agree with me that you're going to see the brake lights reflecting in the Chase building. Okay, and that's going to be important because as we're watching that, those brake lights we're going to see when Mr. Earls starts to leave. Okay, that's what we're going to be watching. Now, can you push play? So we got the truck. The truck's going, but we see those brake lights. You agree with those brake lights are the reflection, right?
They could be.
All right, well, let's go back. I'm not trying to make this hard. We've got to, this is too important to make assumptions. Sorry, go.
Oh, now he's going to be a smart aleck.
Other people have already suggested that they are.
Okay, he wasn't in it. Sir, he's testifying because no. Oh, Cindy, help me here. I'm telling you, this guy, he wasn't in there when other people testified, so why would he know that other people have already testified to it? I mean, don't.
All right, Anna, can you pause it? You're not disputing that those are the same, those are the brake lights of the same truck, right?
They may be the same truck, yes, sir.
Okay, well, I mean, if they're not, what do you think they are?
I don't know.
All right. Do we need to play this again so you can have a closer look?
No.
All right. Keep it going, Anna.
He said no.
I mean, yes, the truck comes to stop outside of the frame. I do see reflected brake lights in the reflection of the bank video.
And now, keep going. We see the BMW. You see that, right? Toward the top?
Yes.
So those brake lights?
Yes, sir.
Still there.
Yes.
All right, so stop it, please, honey. All right, so to get you up to speed, we heard testimony in this courtroom that Mr. Alvarez parked his car and at one point had put it in reverse. And then that reverse is happening. You see on State's Exhibit number 2, right at the time that Mr. Earls is leaving the bank, right?
It appears so.
Okay. So while the video compilation that was just shown to the jury simply shows a shot, that shot is well, I guess let me back up. You're familiar in this case that Mr. Earls believed that that truck was associated with the robber, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if someone believes that the truck, if it's a reasonable belief for them to have, that the truck is associated with the robber, all right?
Judge, I'm going to object. It's improper. He's suggesting that the belief is reasonable. That's a decision for the jury to make.
And I have not finished asking my question.
Ask your question, but I guess the word reasonable triggers the result.
Wow.
Okay, unreasonable. If we have a, if Mr. Earls believes that the pickup truck.
Look at
is
Oso
associated
sitting
with
there
the robber,
grinning.
and he believes that truck is coming back at him, can't you kind of understand why he might be afraid to take a shot at it?
Objection, Judge. Speculation, also calling for a legal conclusion.
Why don't you say objection hurts my case? That's what he's.
Did you see him stand up? Okay, we gotta rewind. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm spicy.
Can't you kind of understand why he might be afraid to take a shot at it?
Objection, Judge. Speculation, also calling for a legal conclusion.
Why don't you say objection hurts my case? That's what he's.
Give me a legal objection, please. If you can answer the question, you can. Legal objections only.
I'm not really sure that I can speak to what his internal process would be at that point.
Okay, and to be fair to Mr. Earls, again, all of these videos that we're seeing are from various angles. They're not where he is standing.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So none of the lighting we're seeing is the same lighting he's seeing, right?
Of course not. No, sir.
And you know, of course, none of this is being viewed while having the adrenaline rush of having a firearm pointed at your face, right?
Correct.
All right.
Use some water. That's good.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Then we have a moment. Sure.
Almost done. Yes, sir. It's outlet trucks. Okay, let's go back to the yes, sir. It's outlet trucks. All right, there. You did just finish the stop. So, good stop. All right, so at this point, where we are at 2 minutes and 32 seconds into State's Exhibit number 2, you just see that the robber has passed the chase sign, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and have you gone out to the scene?
I did not.
All right. Would you quibble with me if I said that sign could be something that could block Mr. Earls' view of the robber?
Yes, sir.
From his standpoint?
It could.
Okay. I'm gonna push the play, please. Then stop. All right, we see that the truck is now coming, is going to be going toward where that sign is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, push play. And then the robber's out of view at that point, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so essentially what you have is a horrible coming of events where a truck.
Objection, argumentative.
I'm sorry, I think that this is the death of a 9-year-old girl is horrible.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna overrule it, but most of the languages, please.
So you
Back up just a second.
have is a horrible coming of events where a truck.
Objection, argumentative.
I'm sorry, I think that this is the death of a 9-year-old girl is horrible.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna overrule it, but most of the languages, please.
So you have a tragic turn of events where the truck is intersecting right as the robber is running behind that sign, right?
Yes, sir.
And from the standpoint of where Mr. Earls would have been standing, it would look like the robber is running right to where that truck is coming, correct? Right at the time when the truck is slowing down.
I think their paths intersected fairly closely. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that point from when you shot into the truck was less than 2 seconds. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
When did you prepare this final video to give over to the district?
I'm going to object relevance.
What's the relevance?
I mean, this case was filed, or the case occurred in 2022 in February. It goes to the state of the investigation that as to when they have this. I guess let me ask a preamble question.
Judge, maybe approach.
Sure. I'm not going to get that topic right now. I'm going to lay some foundation that would make more sense before.
Maybe approach, Your Honor.
This come on first. Let's talk about it.
Ooh, my goodness. I think they're done for the day.
So what was the date that you completed state's exhibit number 108?
Yesterday.
That's what it is.
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Excuse?
From the state, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge, that's to recall.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. With that said, I think it's an excellent time to end. To a scheduling issue. How many more? The jury actually wants to know what do we have left?
How many more witnesses, Judge? We plan on resting on Monday.
Excellent. So I would like to work late on Monday. So please be ready to do so. When I mean late, I'm talking 6, 7, whatever. That's the weekend. But before you do that, remember what I always told y'all. Do not look at the news media. Do not Google this case at all. Do not speak about this case with anyone, your neighbor, friend. If you happen, if someone is speaking about the case, please walk away and admonish them not to speak about the case. So that's it. Y'all have a great weekend. Y'all be safe.
All right, for the jury. Okay, so with that, we will be caught up. And so the state plans on resting tomorrow, which will be interesting because I want to know what the defense has to put on because I have no idea what he's going to say. Would he take the stand? Who's his wife? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's tomorrow. I'm excited. I want justice for this blessed little girl. Arlene Alvarez deserves justice, and yeah, she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. So with that, I will see y'all tomorrow. I have the stream set up for 3:00. I may go live at 1, but right now I think I'm going to stick with my 3:00. That gives, because there's another stream I like to watch that comes on at 12:30. So don't tell nobody. But anyways, so 3:00. We'll do 3:00 tomorrow Central. So whatever 3:00 Central is for you, Cindy. But yeah, I'm ready to get to it tomorrow. So with that, I will see y'all tomorrow, and I'm going to go spend some time with my puppy. And yeah, I don't even know where my outro video went. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right.
Life's a ride on a rickety old track.